right here in our own backyard of Illinois.
It's showtime, folks.
The Big Picture is on WCPT 820. And now, here's your host, Edwin Eisendrath.
And good afternoon. Nope, it's not Edwin Eisendrath today. It's Andrea Darlas. I am in for Edwin. He's taking the day off because of the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad you're with me. Paul, thanks for being here as well. Paul's spinning the dials, keeping us on the air. We have a great show planned for you today on The Big Picture. We're absolutely going to talk about Small Business Saturday. There's some great businesses that we're going to be highlighting today, including Transit Tees, our friends from Transit Tees. Anything and everything Chicago that you want. This is one of my favorite personal stores in the city on the north side. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. Transit Tees, the owner and founder, Tim Gillengerten, is going to be with us to close out the show. We're also going to talk a Small Business Saturday with Sandi Price. She's the executive director of the Rogers Park Business Alliance. She'll be with us in the 3 o'clock hour as well. We're also going to talk about some great things that you can do in the city for the holidays. Last night I saw 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, the Cirque du Soleil that's at the Chicago Theater. That is wonderful. It's kid-friendly, family-friendly. I highly recommend it. Also, Frozen, Broadway in Chicago, and Paradise Square. We're going to talk about that in the 3 o'clock hour also. And there's another production. Again, these are all kid-friendly and family-friendly, too. Becoming Santa Claus. We're going to have Lydia Yankasova. She's the conductor of the musical. She's going to be with us in the 3 o'clock hour as well. And we're right in the middle of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So I'm sure you're getting all these emails, all these great sales and Black Friday deals that have been going on now since pre-Black Friday. So we're going to talk to Steve Bernas, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau. Some scams and things you need to be on the lookout for tomorrow, rather for Monday, Cyber Monday, and Giving Tuesday. Things I want to make you aware of, because while we're all online shopping, that's great, and we're supporting our businesses, but there's some scams you want to be on the lookout for as well. In the 1 o'clock hour, in about 15 minutes, we're going to talk to Mike Zapata. He is an academic advisor at the School of the Art Institute, also a member of the AICWU. They're an organizing committee, and they're trying to unionize, basically. Sun-Times had a great story about this week. Many of the Art Institute employees, they're trying to unionize, and they say that management is trying to block their efforts. So we're going to talk to Mike, who is a member, Mike Zapata, of the AICWU organizing committee, and he's going to tell us a little bit about their efforts and what's happening. As always, though, we want to invite your calls. I'm going to talk for a few minutes about the ward maps. I don't think we can have the show talk about the big picture and things that are happening in the city of Chicago unless we touch on some of the ward maps and the battle over redrawing these maps and how it's really turning into a power struggle, it seems to me, between the city council's two most powerful caucuses, the Black Caucus and the Latino Caucus. So this is really a problem. Also, this goes without saying, there needs to be an Asian American ward that is drawn in there as well, just because the influx and the increase of the Asian American population in the city of Chicago, specifically in that second ward in the Chinatown area. So I definitely think that we're going to have to chat about this for a few minutes anyway here. 773-763-9278 is our number. That's 773-763-WCPT. Want to invite your calls because, hey, it wouldn't be the big picture without you. All right, so let's get into this a little bit. The battle over how to redraw Chicago's ward maps, again, as I said, is turning into a power struggle between the Black and the Latino caucuses. Now, the ward boundaries have to be redrawn because of data from the 2020 census, and the battle over where to place them is going down to the deadline. December 1st is that deadline. That's when we're coming down to the wire. Now, the Black Caucus's plan is calling for 17 Black wards, 14 Latino, 18 white, and 1 Asian. The Latino caucus is basically flipping that. They want 15 Black wards, 15 Latino. So that would take 2 Black wards away, add 1 for the Latino population, 15 white, that takes 3 away, along with 1 Asian ward. So you can see, obviously, where the lines are being drawn here. This is all based on, again, the 2020 census numbers that showed an increase in the Latino population in Chicago, or I can say Latinx, Latino population in Chicago, and a decrease in the black population. So hence they want 2 fewer black wards, the Latino caucus this is, 1 more Latino, and 3 fewer white, and adding on that Asian ward, which 100% you need to add on the Asian ward. Now, any map that intentionally dilutes the representation of the African American community is a non-starter. That's according to Alderman Jason Irvin. He, of course, is the Black Caucus chairman. So how do you do this? How do you draw these wards so that everybody is happy? I don't think you're going to make everybody happy, but there has to be give and take on this. Absolutely. We need to have another Latino ward because the Latino population has increased in Chicago. We need to have an Asian ward as well, as I just said, and both plans do call for that increase of that. Now, again, Jason Irvin is saying that it's a non-starter. He said that every map that's been presented thus far has diluted the African-American community's voting strength. Yes, that is true, because the Latino pitch is to take 2 away, and the black pitch is to take 1 away. Or, I'm sorry, to increase it by 1. So, again, we're going to see what happens, but the Latino caucus is continuing to push back, saying that the Black caucus is ignoring the population shift that is favoring the Latinx community. Alderman Gil Villegas is the Latino caucus chairman. He says he's concerned that the map that was put forward packs and cracks the Latino community, and now he's saying that these terms are illegal if you're looking at the Voting Rights Act and just based on population and the increase in each population. Now, a couple days ago, a coalition marched to City Hall to deliver what they're calling the People's Map. And let me preface all of this by saying that you, as a Chicago resident, can weigh in on this. You know, you can go to the City Hall website, City Council website, and you can redraw these. You can add your input. There have been 3 public hearings on this so far. One, basically nobody showed up. So I don't know if that was just because of the timing of it or just no one really wanted to have a say. It was via Zoom, too. So we're seeing a little of this mirroring the congressional maps when those were redrawn and being redrawn. Is that there's not a lot of input from the public sector, but you can go online and still put your input in, give your input rather, until this December 1st deadline. So Mayor Lightfoot says the 2 caucuses are not helping each other. Mayor Lightfoot's not taking a side, but she's saying these 2 caucuses are not helping the situation by digging in their heels. Really, people are empowered to have an effect in their own government and choosing the alderman rather than the alderman choosing the people. So as I started to say, the coalition group marched to City Hall to deliver what they were calling the People's Map. Now, this would be a completely different alternative, not to just keep throwing numbers your way, but this is another proposal. This would have 15 black majority wards, 14 Latino, and 13 white, which is taking 5 away from what it currently is as far as the white population, the Caucasian population, along with adding that 1 Asian majority ward. It seems like everybody's on board for this adding the Asian majority ward, so that seems to be okay. But again, the Black Caucus and the Latino Caucus are really just digging in, as Mayor Lightfoot did say. And as I said, aldermen have until December 1 to introduce a compromise map. And if not, it leaves open the possibility that remapping could go to a referendum next year. So that would take it out of the hands of the city council altogether and leave it up to the voters. I'm just curious if you have an opinion on this or if you have any thoughts on this. 773-763-9278 before we talk to Mike Zapata from the Art Institute in just a few minutes here. The Sun-Times, I would just end with this. The Sun-Times wrote a great op-ed piece a couple of days ago. It was 3 days ago, so just ahead of Thanksgiving. It's a great op-ed. I'm going to read just a little bit, and it's really just urging the Black and the Latino caucuses to try to get along, to try to work together instead of being so far apart, and it's so opposite ends of the spectrum. Nobody's wanting to give or take. So the editorial, the op-ed goes on to say that the city's ward map remapping process is never pretty, and the current go-round, though not as ugly as in decades past, is no exception. So it says, on first blush, the changes would seem to reflect what's happened in Chicago over the last decade. The black population is shrinking, the Latino population and the Asian population, particularly in Bridgeport, and Chinatown, of course, too, has grown. Some Latino council members feel the proposed map shortchanges the true growth of their constituency. They have a point worth considering, that the Latino population has leapfrogged past that of black residents. So the standoff is one reason why we, the Sun-Times, is renewing our call for a remap that is fair and equitable. And that requires taking into account the reality of shifting demographics and respecting the integrity of well-defined neighborhoods. Englewood comes to mind, so that they're not carved up among multiple wards. It's a really, really good article. And it just goes on. It breaks down some of the numbers, too, so you can actually see the numbers in addition to the percentages. So when you say the city's black population has declined by 10% since 2010, it's now down to about just over 800,000. And again, this is all according to the census figures that were released last August from 2020. The Latino population has increased 5%, shooting up to 819,518. The white population grew by 1% and stands at 863, flat 863. So you can see these numbers. I mean, they're very close, yet 1% is about 20,000 to 30,000 more people. So it really breaks these down so you can take a look at these and see, each side has a point. The black population doesn't want to lose their seat. I understand that. The Latino population wants more seats. I can understand that too. And of course, the Asian population, they just want representation, because this is, they need to have a ward that represents an alderperson that represents their community as well. So the contentious 1990 map, that, remember, led to a huge lawsuit, and that cost taxpayers, yes, you, me, and the rest of us who live in the city of Chicago, $20 million to settle. So we don't want to go down that road again, because who's going to lose money? The taxpayers. So it might not be a bad idea if it did go to referendum and the taxpayers decide. It's something that I definitely want you to keep an eye on as that December 1st deadline looms. Okay, we are going to take a little break here and then come back and talk to Mike Zapata, the academic advisor of the School of the Art Institute, a member of the AICWU organizing committee. Tell you what's going on with them at the Art Institute. It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin today on The Big Picture. I hope you're enjoying your Thanksgiving weekend here on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV?
I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code POWER for a 25-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code POWER. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code POWER. That's POWER. Visit getupside.com for terms.
Well, the Democrats are fighting amongst themselves. The Republicans are still trying to overturn the 2020 election, and the Fed is going to stop easing money next year. So what could you do, you ask? Time to buy that new home. Or if that doesn't float your boat, it's definitely time to refinance. Call me, Scott Silberman, at 847-423-0301 to discuss your financing needs. For purchases, I will run you through automated underwriting so you will have a solid pre-approval when you start looking. Realtors really love that Oops. For refinances, whether you are looking to get cash out to consolidate debt or do some home improvement, shorten your loan term, or just get a lower rate, quit waiting. The Fed couldn't be any clearer. Rates next year are going up. So call me today, Scott Silberman, at 847-423-0301. Start online at scottsilberman.go, apmc.com. And yes, this old school liberal still answers his own phone, 847-423-0301.
American Portfolio Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender, NMLS 175656, Scott's NMLS 681059. This is Gary Menzel from Roofers and Waterproofers Local 11. If you're looking to have a new roof installed this year, let Local 11 Residential Roofers Union send out Filato Construction, serving Plainfield, Joliet, Crest Hill, and the south suburbs. Filato Construction employs skilled and trained OSHA 10-hour certified workers who will work safely while on your roof. Local 11 residential roofers earn a living wage and receive family health care and a retirement pension for their hard work. When you hire Filato Construction, you get competitive pricing, professional union installers, and the peace of mind knowing the job was done right. So if you're a homeowner or a part of a homeowners association and you're tired of a leaky roof or tired of the neighborhood roofer who just can't seem to get it done right, give Filato Construction a call at 815-740-5461. Filato Construction also installs solar roofing with a certified Local 134 electrician. Learn more about residential roofing at rooferslocal11.org.
Listening to The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
Happy Thanksgiving weekend to you. We've already devoured our leftovers. I don't know about you, Paul, but we went to my cousin's house for Thanksgiving, and she sent home, turkey and the sweet potatoes and the Greek stuffing and everything, and that's gone.
We got a lot of stuffing.
Did you?
Yeah, a lot of stuffing. Homemade, and a lot of pumpkin pie. But other than that, we don't have a lot of leftovers.
Oh, us too. I don't know what it was. The next day, we just tore into it, so... Yeah. Tonight it's going to be chicken. Hey, employees of the Art Institute of Chicago, they say that museum management is trying to hinder their attempt to collectively bargain, and they're demanding officials step aside and allow unionization efforts to proceed without interference. It's been an ongoing story about the Art Institute all week long, and I thought who better to break it down for us and explain what's going on is Mike Zapata. Mike is the academic advisor at the School of the Art Institute, also a member of the AICWU organizing committee, and he's taken time out of his holiday weekend to join us. Hi, Mike.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much for being with us. I find this story fascinating, and it just keeps building and building and building, hopefully for better, and it won't be for worse. But kind of give us a little bit of background here on the show and tell us what's happening at the Art Institute and your efforts specifically.
Absolutely, and I just want to take a quick note to say the momentum is with the workers. I think we've seen that, not only in the media, but I think we've seen that internally in the quick and sort of viable ways in which we've been able to organize around the things that really matter to the employees there. So not only sort of the traditional things like, we have equity and equitable pay scales, but we're really sort of organizing not only for ourselves, but for the larger community and institution at large. And we've had enormous support. That's one of the beautiful things about organizing, especially in a cultural institution is globally known as the Art Institute, and the School of the Art Institute is sort of that support that's there for us, and I think we've seen that recently. So what has been extremely frustrating, and I think the story that you earlier sort of mentioned, was the ways in which these, you could say traditionally liberal institutions have used sort of classically corporate anti-union busting techniques. Mm-hmm. That's been everything for sort of implicit threats about losing benefits, which seeks to make workers afraid to not vote yes. Now that we have an election, which we're insanely excited about, we've seen ways in which they've sort of siphoned off different people and have told them they're not eligible. We all know sort of from organizing that when an employee tells individuals that they're not eligible for the union, that's not for them to decide. Right. That's for the National Labor Board to decide who's eligible or not. So these tactics are really strong, really implicitly threatening and alienating to those who are first gearing up and first learning about the benefits that can happen in a union. So we're not quiet about it. We're fighting that. Yep. And I think what is really empowering is to really sit down and talk with coworkers and to have that recognition that these threats will fall flat when we win.
Let me ask you, Mike.
I really outline how that'll work. Yeah.
Is this the first time that workers at the Art Institute have tried to unionize?
It's my understanding that is the case.
Yeah.
I've been with the School of the Art Institute for a few years. I know some years back there was a union effort with professors at School of the Art Institute. and that was a failed endeavor. But, for example, the sort of like anti-union website that the School of the Art Institute has posted had all of the same language that they used from years ago when they union busted professors trying to unionize. So this is something that they felt the same techniques, the implicitly threatening workers would work. Times have changed. I think we're seeing nationally that there's a wave of unionization efforts, not sort of just even in sort of what we see as traditional institutions and businesses, but cultural institutions. There's so many reasons. The pandemic is not the only reason why we have felt that these movements towards equity have been necessary, but it's a national wave. And the Art Institute and the School of the Art Institute, I think, are at the center of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything has gone up now because, whether it's because of the pandemic or not, but just for argument's sake, let's say it is, you go to the grocery store, everything is increasing. You go to the gas station, everything is increasing. Of course, and many of these workers maybe necessarily weren't furloughed, but at least were not working full time or were not at the Art Institute or, it was closed for a portion of time. So to ask for better pay and a voice in decisions affecting them really seems appropriate.
So, I have a really good friend, and he says things like the pandemic, they pull the veneer aside of how institutions work traditionally. Yeah. So, the institutions work in crisis mode when it comes to not awarding their equity and rewarding fair wages to their employees all the time. I think the pandemic, what it did is it pulled the veneer aside, and we're able to see the inner workings of why this is happening. But yes, it's difficult to make a living in any major city in America right now. And so when you have workers who dedicate their lives to an institution, and when you have workers who are sort of dedicating, their 40 hours a week, and they're not able to get by. I have 2 kids. I have a mortgage. I have 2 kids. Yeah. Thankfully, my wife is a CPS teacher. I was previously a CPS teacher for 10, 11 years. And so working in an at-will place was a little foreign to me. Yeah, And just like you said, everything is getting more expensive, but to be part of a union and to know that your future has some stability not only gives you peace of mind, it gives you this material sense of peace. Right. And it also gives you this sense that you can fight for equity in the workplace. I'm Latino, I'm first generation. And so when institutions like this, another thing that's been quite frustrating for a lot of the organizing committee and my coworkers is there's so much language of anti-racism that comes out of places. And at the end of the day, when they draw that line of being anti-union, it's performative. And you have wonderfully brilliant, educated, hard workers who know what the stakes are when it comes to equity. People of color, BIPOC, first generation. I don't think, I always say, I'm not surprised, I should say, that when you have a young workforce that knows the stakes, and you have a young workforce that's BIPOC, and when they're in this institution, they see that the Art Institute and the School of the Art Institute, they see that the language itself of anti-racism becomes performative. Right. And that's central to what we've been saying the whole time and talking to coworkers is, what can we do as a union together to actually put those words that the institutions are saying into material action into our lives, and how that would benefit the lives of those around us, our families, and surely the museum and the school itself with our students and museum goers every day. Yeah, and it can only make things better, especially when you have an overwhelming majority of workers who have already signed cards attesting, saying, hey, we want to unionize, and asking management to try to remain neutral. And then there was a news conference last week in front of the Art Institute where just some of these accusations, I'm so sorry that, you're having to go through this, with, and I know some of the accusations in the press conference, they said that the workers were being threatened, misinforming workers, saying, hey, that you're not eligible to vote, as you alluded to, Mike, too. And one of the scariest things is getting a poor performance review. Yes, yeah, which is absolutely threatening someone's livelihood. Yeah. And it shows why unions are so critical, and ultimately too is we're not going to be intimidated. Like you said, we have a supermajority.
Yes.
We've done the work of talking to our colleagues. We've done the important, critical work of asking what is most critical to our colleagues' day-to-day work lives. And overwhelmingly, what we're hearing, and that is really why we have a supermajority, is we want to really have a seat at the table to negotiate for better futures for all of our employees. And the threatening, we're not going to be intimidated, number one.
Mm-hmm.
We have a supermajority, which is not only empowering, but it's also gives you a little bit of mathematical confidence. Being able
absolutely. Oh, yeah. When you have the numbers in your favor, absolutely.
Yeah, and so, there's been historically just limited opportunities for promotions and raises. There's really been, constantly we're told there's a voice when there is no voice. I've participated in equity committees where kind of the go-to status quo is we want to hear your voices. And when our voices are determinant on wanting better material lives for ourselves and our families, the conversation gets shut off. So as a Latino, as a first-generation worker at the Art Institute, it becomes performative equity, and it becomes sort of anti-union busting. And so one of the reasons we're not going to be intimidated is because we spent the time talking to our coworkers.
Yeah.
And we spent the time organizing and coming to this really powerful consensus that forming our union was the best steps forward for ourselves and for the institutions. We want to be partners. We want to create a better School of the Art Institute and Art Institute.
Oh, absolutely. And it's got this world-class reputation. You just want to keep that and solidify that. And I'm sure, Mike, you're doing a lot of damage control, too, like easing fears of workers, saying, hey, you know what? Mm-hmm. This isn't going to happen. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to be fired for wanting this or wanting to unionize.
Correct. And what it comes down to is we negotiate up. The benefits that people do enjoy are not going to go away. The threats are really insidious, especially I'm a father. So especially having health insurance and having sort of ways to think about retirement at your workplace to threaten that those are going to be taken away is just purely insidious and it's frustrating. So yes, it does allow for us actually to go back and talk to our colleagues and coworkers and say, these are threats. These are not going to happen. When we win the election, we're going to negotiate up to ensure that there's equity and pay equity in place, and that the basically the things that you do like, we keep, and we're going to bargain up, as is the case across the board in cultural institutions in the United States when they do form a union.
How many workers are we talking about?
So we're talking about 600 in total, split between the School of the Art Institute and the Art Institute, about 300. So this is quite a sizable,
big. Oh yeah,
big unit. Yeah, 600 total, and between the two units of the School of the Art Institute and Art Institute, about 300 each.
What happens now? I mean, at what point are you? Where are you in the process, and what is the next step? So
we're actually, like we had said before, we have the supermajority. We are so excited to announce that we have an election.
Excellent.
So the election actually, ballots are going to be sent out on December 8th, and then we have about a month, so about January 10th. For those ballots to be mailed in, and then we count on the 11th or the 12th. So, we hope to be talking to you in a month and a half with our excitement that the union was formed. But everything that they throw at us, we've been able to push back. We've been able to say, this is what the supermajority of your workers want. So by winning this election, not only is a great success, so a lot of our focus right now is going back and talking to our coworkers and colleagues and saying this election is in place. And for me, one of the things that is really critical for me, especially being, first generation, the first person, essentially in my family is the oldest who was able to vote. And I'm talking about, national and local elections. But the truly democratic process by which you can vote to say yes for a union is one of the most empowering experiences I've had in my life. And I try to stress that with colleagues and coworkers too. And with those who might be unfamiliar with this is a true democratic process.
Yeah.
And so when we see those anti-union sort of threats, implicitly, it's also anti-democratic, because what we're really gearing up for is an important election that's going to really, really impact the lives of workers at both places.
Once this happens and things go the way you hope and we think that they will go, so this would be, you'll know by January 10th for the Art Institute, and then for the school, that'll be on January 11th.
I think 11th for the museum and the 12th for the school.
Okay,
Around
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So, so once that happens, so after that, the union is formed, and then I know there's probably still a fear of not retaliation, but maybe retaliatory actions on behalf of the Art Institute. Is that still a fear, or once you're unionized, that all goes away?
It's such a good question, because I think in any organizing effort, there's always going to be periods of time where people are going to be afraid for their jobs.
Sure.
We see that as such sort of the norm, the modus of the United States, where most jobs are at will. So we take this fear with us wherever we go. But I think, by winning this election, by winning our union, we are able to truly sit at the table and say, we are here as equal partners. We have a supermajority, and we have a vision. One thing that's so awesome about this organizing effort is how much of a vision our colleagues have.
Oh yeah.
It goes beyond. It goes, in my experience, it goes, and I've been very fortunate as a CPS teacher to have that experience with CTU, but it goes beyond just saying, okay, we can now sit at the table and we'll have, we can negotiate the higher pay that we deserve. We can negotiate equity. We can negotiate not being afraid of losing our job if there's another pandemic, or, we can negotiate those things, but also the vision that the organizing committee and our coworkers have right now is absolutely empowering. So not only are we going to take those demands to the table, not only are we going to take our ideas about equity and pay to the table, but we're going to take a vision of what's possible for the school and the museum with us. And that is hard. That is hard for them to push back on. We're the work.
Yeah.
We're in it. We're in it every day. So we know what community members and students, we know how to improve their lives. And so that vision comes with us.
Yeah, and I second that too. You're in it. You're in the trenches. You are there every day. You know what the students want. You know what the public wants. You know what the workers want. So you kind of have this like all-encompassing view of what needs to happen at the Art Institute.
Correct. Yeah, and what led, in part, what led to the organizing effort is when we had previously brought those, obviously not to the table, but to our bosses, silence.
Yeah.
We know the anti-racist work. We know the work that entails equity for community members, for students, and I think the frustration is in place where you have, just a hardworking, brilliant workforce that had previously had that vision, and then the silence from those people in power, as we see nationally, creates a level of frustration. And so that's what we're changing too.
Was that response disheartening, or did that kind of fuel your fire, Mike, to say, you know what, we're going to do this and we're going to do it right?
Yeah. I think for what has just been absolutely exciting and empowering is to see how many coworkers that they wanted to step up for the fight. Especially seeing the layoffs after the pandemic, especially seeing the ways in which the different departments were treated during the pandemic, and almost this mentality of like, this is a crisis, put your head down, do the work. When we said we can do this work better, we can do this work with more compassion, we can do this work that will make us viable post-pandemic or through however long this takes. And so that silence on sort of leadership's end, where so much was top-bottom, became, I think, a fuel. It was easier to go talk to coworkers who had great ideas that nobody on the top was listening to. Mm-hmm. And they're coming, those are workers who have student debt. Those are workers who see the rental prices in Chicago going up. And so all these sort of, come together cohesively to put a fire, I think, under our effort. And I think it's why we've had such success and forming a supermajority and getting to this election.
I think so too. It was almost like a pressure cooker too, combined with the pandemic, with everybody either being home and I say furloughed, only in the sense of that the museum wasn't open for a period of time, so people were not there. And then when everybody reemerged, you want to come back to a situation that's better than the one you left.
Yes, absolutely. And that wasn't the case. And so that's why we can fight to sit at the table and make that the case. Because as we know, as we see sort of in national and global politics, sort of crises are not going to end. The pandemic may not be the last crisis. We hope there's nothing coming in the future, but that stability and that being able to sit at the table if there is a crisis and ensuring not only the livelihoods of workers, but the livelihoods of these institutions is key. And you need workers. You need them. They need us way more than we need them.
I think you just summed it up beautifully, Mike. The workers are what make the Art Institute, the world-renowned institution that it is. You're the reason the Obama portraits, have been there, and these, wonderful exhibits that keep returning and showing up. Van Gogh, Monet, whatever it is, and it also has just an amazing reputation as a school too. I have a dear friend whose son is a junior now in the School of the Art Institute. So it's just the workers make it.
Yeah, and I just want to take a quick note.
Yeah, please.
The students at School of the Art Institute, the messages we get of support have just been enormously powerful. Messages that we get from families and students who support our efforts. It's their tuition dollars. They don't want their tuition dollars going to anti-union efforts. They want it to make a better school, and that this is how we do it, by unionizing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything else? Do you want to say a last word to any of the workers or anyone who's listening who is part of these efforts and supporting these efforts, which I would think would be a supermajority, in your efforts to take this on?
Just a huge thank you to all the support. We've had so much support from representatives to alderpersons to community members to teachers to CPS teachers. Even art teachers have reached out to us. The amount of support, that we've seen has been substantial, has been powerful, and we're so grateful to see that this isn't just we're not just on an island, right? That this is a wave of support that we're going to ride towards an election win, and it's also my hopes that other institutions throughout the country will see us and will know that it's possible. If it's possible at the School of the Art Institute, if it's possible at the Art Institute, then they too can fight for those equitable lives and unionize. So I see it very local and very national, and for everyone who stepped up to support us, just a wild hug of gratitude and solidarity.
Well, a big hug for you and your team and for all that you do, Mike. You should be really proud of not just this undertaking, which is necessary and it's high time. It's the Art Institute. It's high time, but also for taking the time to reassure families and workers and saying, hey, you know what, and doing that damage control that we talked about before, and that giving them the voice that they want and they need.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, keep us posted. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you in January at the start of the year, and hopefully with good news.
Let's do it. It will be good news. Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Have a great Thanksgiving weekend. That's Mike Zapata. He is an academic advisor at the School of the Art Institute and a member of the AICWU Organizing Committee. We'll keep you updated on all of the information that comes from their valiant fight and their valiant effort to unionize at the Art Institute and the School of the Art Institute. All right, it's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin on The Big Picture on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT. Back.
We've all been spending more time indoors than usual, but FinishingChicago.com has an offer to update your interior. Whether your space is residential or commercial, for a limited time you can save up to 25% on painting and decorating. FinishingChicago.com has the most dynamic interior spaces available from industry-leading union craftspeople. That's union quality, efficiency, and industry-leading expertise in your home or commercial space. Visit FinishingChicago.com to find a contractor in your area. This unprecedented access to union quality labor at a reduced rate is only available for a limited time. Revitalize your spaces with fine decorative upgrades applied by the most knowledgeable craftspeople in the industry. Whether it's a new color or transforming your walls into something truly special, our contractors have all the options. Take advantage of FinishingChicago.com's Update Your Interior savings before they're gone. For up to 25% off your new finish, start with FinishingChicago.com.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV?
I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code POWER for a 25-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code POWER. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code POWER. That's POWER. Visit GetUpside.com for terms.
This is John Daniel, President and Business Manager of the Sheet Metal Workers of Smart Local 265. The principles that guide me are rooted in the simple belief that united we stand and divided we fall. We the people must recognize that a diverse environment with unique points of view is the foundation for success. A culture where labor and management work together inspires innovation, promotes inclusion, creates a sustainable growth for business, the workforce, and our communities. When the entrepreneur's vision is developed and improved with the voice of a unionized workforce, you build more than just a product, you build a stronger future. I want to personally thank everyone who voted for President Biden. He believes in unions. Blue Collar Biden signed the American Rescue Act of 2021, which secures vested pension benefits. It funds improvements of indoor air quality in K-12 schools and provides additional Paycheck Protection Program loans to support small businesses. This is John Daniel from Smart Local 265. Join me in celebrating a return to sanity and a sustainable middle class. Stay union strong.
You're listening to The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
And good afternoon. Edwin is off today. He'll be back with you next Saturday. I'm Andrea Darlas in for the next couple of hours with you. Dr. Lauren Streicher is going to be with us at 2 o'clock. We are going to talk a little bit about COVID and the boosters. She's got a brand new book out, too, and you're going to absolutely want to hear about this, too. Channel 9 and, of course, CNN had a big story today about this new variant of COVID-19. We're going to ask her about that, too, now because, of course, family gatherings. I mean, we had a big gathering on Thanksgiving. There was about 12 of us. There's obviously, we're reemerging from this, or so we think, but being as cautious as we possibly can. Now with each passing hour, there's new restrictions being slapped on travel from countries in South Africa. A host of countries, including us, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Japan, Thailand, are joining others, including the European Union and the UK, in imposing restrictions on most South African countries in response to the transmissibility of a brand new variant of COVID-19. So we're going to talk to Dr. Streicher about that at 2 o'clock, and then we'll talk about Cyber Monday with Steve Bernas at 2:30. But first, I always love when I work with Paul, my guy here, he always tells me, well, we always kind of compare notes on what we're watching. Mm-hmm. And I think this is really a weekend of, Netflixing and Huluing and watching and catching up on all of our shows. And you actually saw Get Back, the Beatles doc.
Yeah, I watched all 3 parts.
All right, what'd you think?
I loved it. I mean, I'm a huge Beatles fan.
You're a Beatles fan, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, do you have to be a big Beatles fan to...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think to sit through 8 hours of it, I mean, I can kind of give you the cliff notes of what happens, and it's going to culminate in the rooftop concert, so not to spoil anything.
No, that's not spoiling anything.
But what's neat is you get, high definition, multiple camera angles, you get the rooftop concert, and it was neat to see kind of the nervous energy leading up to the moment in part 3 of this concert, because they come in wanting to do this big project. I think we're going to do a live TV appearance, an album, and a documentary film to go with it. And of course, they had to improvise as they went along, and it became the Let It Be album, the Let It Be documentary, and then all of the tension and stuff that we hear about, as to how the band broke up. But this gives a clearer picture of what was going on at the time, and it seemed like that they all really liked each other.
Okay.
And they all probably knew that it was going to end sometime soon anyway. But it seemed like they really enjoyed working together, and they kept changing their minds about how they wanted to do this, because they had to improvise as things went along. They had like 2 weeks to use a studio before it got switched to a movie set. So then they end up going back to their recording studio, and they were debating about, well, maybe we should rent out a theater, maybe we should play down in Libya, maybe we should do some sort of big, extravagant concert. And then they just decided, like, about 2 days before they did it, they're like, well, let's just go on the roof.
How cool. All right, do you have to be... No, I like the Beatles. You love the Beatles.
Yeah.
Do you have to be a diehard Beatles fan to enjoy this, or is it kind of a...
You would have to answer that for me. I mean, I guess, like...
Because I'll watch it. I'm going to watch it for sure.
Because it's nearly 8 hours, and it's a lot of, just... It's easy to kind of go in and out of it.
Yeah.
And I think... From playing in bands, I'm used to the creative process of just kind of sitting and watching.
Yeah.
Especially with like being in a band and one member might be working on something while everyone's sitting around waiting for that member to kind of, work on the harmony or work on the melody or whatever part that they want to write.
Right.
So there's a lot of that. But I guess what catches you with this is some of the conversations in between that they're having, or who comes and visits them, or what sort of side conversations they might be having, and then watching them improvise as they have to figure out how to best react to whatever situation comes at them, like George leaving the band for a couple of days, and how they have to pivot from there, and then trying to change the atmosphere of the studio, and then going back to... So I think it's more for the diehards than the casual fans.
Okay.
But I think the casual fans will pick up certain things that they like about it. And just to kind of spoil it, I mean, you see McCartney come in and start writing Get Back on his bass while Ringo and George are just kind of watching him, and John hadn't shown up for the day. You see Ringo playing Octopus's Garden on the piano, and George kind of helping him write the middle part for it.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
You see George telling John and Yoko that he's starting to focus on his solo career, and he really wants to start worrying about that. And we know that George later on in that year releases All Things Must Pass, which is like a triple album. So this guy had... And you see that they're withholding George from letting him contribute music. Mm-hmm. And he's got all of these different songs, and some that we know, some that we don't know. But you see the band going over All Things Must Pass, which ended up being a solo song. So the payoff is that you get to see certain moments that you normally don't get to see unless you've listened to the bootlegs or, read into that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of neat to see this. The film is touched up. It looks nice. The audio is touched up. And it really gives you, a full glimpse into what their lives were like that month, what they were deciding and how they came about their decisions and what type of work ethic that they had.
What did you learn as a Beatles fan? Something that, and this isn't spoiling anything, because we all know what we're watching, going into it. Did you learn something? Because you were a comprehensive Beatle fan. Do you know... What did you learn?
I didn't know that George Martin actually did have a heavy hand in the project, because that was the one album that he didn't produce.
Okay.
And it ended up being Phil Spector, which they don't talk about that because Phil wasn't live there. It was Glenn Johns was the engineer on site.
Okay.
And then I think the backstory that they don't cover in the movie is that afterwards they gave all of the audio to Phil Spector, and he was the one that added the strings and things like that to Let It Be and Long and Winding Road.
Right.
And then that turned into McCartney took all that stuff out in like 2002 when he released Let It Be Naked.
Okay.
So, you don't see any of that stuff, but you see George Martin is actually physically on the scene giving advice and kind of talking about certain parts of the project with them. Like it's
that's cool.
The funny part, so this is like the person that's like, why would I care about any of this? Why would I watch this? It really is a group of like spoiled rich people sitting around wondering what to do with their time and their money.
Really?
And,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that, especially with just like, it's got to be costing them a fortune to be renting out Twickenham studios or, just recording nonsense on their tapes and whatnot.
Right.
But I mean, they're at their peak at this point, so they have all sorts of money. So I mean, there is that element of you're seeing all these kind of people coming in and out, giving advice or just kind of sitting around wondering what they should be doing. So there is that element of like it might drive you crazy to watch these guys that have a lot of things at their fingertips that they could do, just kind of being like, well, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that, maybe we should do this. It's like, guys,
but I love being the fly on that wall. I mean, because I've seen the Billie Eilish documentary. Am I the biggest Billie Eilish fan on the planet? No, but it was interesting to see her weird kind of creative process. Same with Pink and different artists and this would just be. I find it so fascinating, the whole with bands, especially like the Beatles. One of the, arguably the most popular band in the world. Or most famous or infamous. Just the whole creative process. Because I always want to know: do they write first? Do they find the lyric first? The melody? How does that creative process work? And who had the foresight to think, I'm going to record all this? I mean, is this just like 8 hours of? I know it's edited, of course, but is it just kind of like they just let it go?
Yeah. So it was supposed to be a documentary for this live television performance. They were just going to capture as much as they can and then give everyone kind of a glimpse of what the process was. Like they came in right after New Year's to this. Essentially, the Twickenham Studios was rented out by the head of Apple because he was producing The Magic Christian starring Peter Sellers and Ringo Starr.
Okay.
That wasn't going to start filming until about like the 14th or 15th. So they had this empty studio to use, and this guy told the band, well, why don't you guys start working? And it didn't really give a background as to why they wanted to do this, but essentially they wanted to, in 14 days, working days, so business days for sure, write 14 songs, record them, release them on an album, do a live television performance, and then kind of give you a behind the scenes of what it looked like. But they scrapped the television performance instead for the rooftop. And then it turned into the Let It Be documentary, the Let It Be album. And I'm sure there's Beatles fans out there that are like, Paul's getting it wrong.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's always going to be people saying, this one got it wrong or that one got it wrong. Yeah, but I mean, it's cool just to kind of be a fly on that wall or just to, be a voyeur and watching this whole process, Okay, so it's called Get Back, and where can we see it?
Disney Plus.
Oh, it's Disney Plus.
And they released it. It was like, the first one was Thanksgiving, the second one was Black Friday, and then the third one was today. So I got up at like 3 a.m. and watched it.
All right, well, you have kids, though, too, because that's the one streaming service I don't have. I have Hulu, I have Netflix, I have HBO Max. I'm going to get rid of Hulu, though, but before I do, I just finished Dope Sick. Okay. And I don't know if you saw that with Michael Keaton, and it's the young lady, Caitlin Devers from Last Man Standing. I'm telling, and Peter Skarsgård is in this too. I mean, everything he's in is just brilliant. But it's about the opioid crisis.
Okay.
And oh my God, it's eye-opening. It's interesting. It's fascinating, and the performances. I would say it's probably this season's Mare of Easttown, because it was kind of the little sleeper hit that HBO Max had that took all the Emmys. I think you're going to see that with Dope Sick too.
Okay.
And if you haven't seen Ted Lasso on Apple TV?
I saw it.
Ted Lasso is just feel good. Like Jason Sudeikis said, it's two things Americans embrace, and he's shocked about it: soccer and kindness. Yeah. But yeah, highly recommend that. And I'm just now getting caught up on Succession.
Okay. I've heard about Succession.
It's taken me a long time to get into this one.
HBO?
It's HBO Max. They're all so unlikable.
Okay.
Everybody except Brian Cox in this show is
just... What about Cousin Greg or whatever?
Oh, completely unlikable.
Okay.
He just... again, I'm on season 2, so I'm almost to season 3, which is where we are now in real time, in real life. So those are mine. But Get Back. Maybe I might have to get Disney Plus just to see this.
If you're really into the marathon, the 8 hours, ride it all out. But at the very least, if you're not a Beatles fan, watch the first 10 minutes and see if you're hooked, because it gives you a crash course on all the events leading up to 1969. If you're a casual Beatles fan, stick out parts 1 and 3. I think are definitely in everyone's wheelhouse. If you're a diehard, you got to watch all of it.
All right, we'll do it. It's Paul's Picks. That's what I'm officially calling that segment. Thanks, Edwin. It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin on The Big Picture. After this, we are going to talk to Dr. Lauren Streicher, Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
Morning, Mama. How you feeling?
Great, and I'm ready for you today.
I'm checking in on you. Morning meditation?
Check.
Dressed and ready to work out?
Check.
Check your blood pressure yet?
And check.
Boom! Great job, Mom. And about those gold earrings.
No, ma'am.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Monitor your blood pressure daily and help each other stay motivated. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
The history of Air America lives here. This is WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
NBC News Radio, I'm Julie Ryan. The UK is stepping up COVID-19 testing after 2 cases of the Omicron coronavirus turned up in England. The British Health Secretary said today both cases are linked to travelers from South Africa. Prime Minister Boris Johnson called it a reminder to get vaccinated. Britain has already suspended flights from several countries in southern Africa, and similar U.S. travel restrictions are set to kick in Monday. Dr. Anthony Fauci says there's no need to panic over the new COVID variant. The White House chief medical advisor tells NBC's Today Show the U.S. is taking precautionary steps to allow time to learn more about the variant found in South Africa.
You don't want people to panic, but you want to know that we're doing everything we can to stay ahead of this.
Tomorrow is expected to be the busiest of the holiday week for air travel. Brad Siegel has more.
Airports are gearing up for another busy day. The TSA says travelers set a pandemic record Wednesday with 2.3 million people flying for Thanksgiving. That's more than double of last year and 88% of the number screened back in 2019. It was also the 7th straight day the TSA topped 2 million passengers. Travelers are not expected to face weather delays on Sunday, as forecasters say much of the country is expected to be quiet.
Another smash and grab robbery is being reported, this time out of Minnesota. Authorities in Burnsville, a city just south of downtown Minneapolis, say a group of 20 to 30 people swarmed a Best Buy Black Friday evening. The suspects quickly ran off with numerous electronic items before police could arrive. Smash and grab robberies are on the rise across this country this holiday season, with California experiencing a recent rash of crime targeting high-end stores. The 89th annual Hollywood Christmas Parade rolls through Tinseltown tomorrow night. This year's Grand Marshal is the talk co-host Cheryl Underwood. Other celebrities expected to ride in the parade include Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis and Santa Claus. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
Sunday mornings with Brandon Johnson at 9.
Georgia signs this sweeping voter rights bill that takes away voter rights, that I can't even give people sitting in line to vote water anymore. And white men are in a room signing the bill. A black woman knocks on the door and gets arrested with 2 felonies. Now, if that ain't America for you.
On WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk. This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
Good afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to you. Happy Small Business Saturday, pre-Cyber Monday, post-Black Friday. I think I got it all in. It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin. He'll be back with you next Saturday, and I'm so happy to have on the line my dear friend Lauren Streicher, of course, Doctor of Clinical Professor of OBGYN at Northwestern at the Feinberg School of Medicine, and the Medical Director of the Northwestern Medicine Center for Sexual Medicine and Menopause. Thank you, Dr. Streicher, for taking some time out of your holiday weekend to be with us.
My pleasure. I'm taking a break from moving into a new apartment, so this is a bonus for me to get an excuse to not have to be
right.
So I love it.
Tell your husband do all the heavy lifting right now.
Yeah. Speaking of my husband, you were just talking about the Beatles.
Yes.
Oh my God, the man is glued. We have to bring him meals so he doesn't miss a second of it. So yeah, I've been watching a little bit of it, and it is absolutely worthwhile.
I was going to say, what did you think? Because I know he's the big Beatles fan. You're a Beatles fan, but not quite to the level of him. He's kind of the geek Beatles fan.
No one. I think he is a Beatle. He's just, you know, he has a lot to say about it. Let's put it that way. He's enjoying every second of it, but he also has plenty of criticism, including, I think, Yoko Ono is making him nuts. nuts.
Oh,
she's like always there.
I literally so you know Spike O'Dell, my old friend from WGN Radio, he wrote a top 10 takeaways from this, and I was just reading it to Paul Shivari, my producer here, and Paul's a big Beatle fan, just like Jason is, and one of the number one takeaways is that Yono was joined to John's hip.
Exactly. And
literally.
It's an irritating way. It's like, what? Just go away, you know?
Right.
Yeah, there's that.
Like literally next to him as they're recording.
Like joined at that's what he said. That was one of his takeaways.
Exactly. One goes to the bathroom, the other one goes to the bathroom. It's creepy almost.
Oh my God, that totally is. Well, I know this is a family weekend. This is a fun weekend. Everybody's gathering. Everybody's being cautious. You know, so at my big Thanksgiving was at my cousin's house. We had 12 people. Everybody's vaccinated. Pretty much everybody had their boosters too. The kids were young enough to where they don't need to be vaccinated, or they don't have that option yet, I should say. But my one cousin, Dr. Streicher, she reminds me of you. She's in great health. She works out. She's a personal trainer. She and her husband both have been vaccinated, and she got COVID. So, and she was now she had a million questions too. She was like, do I still get my booster? I've had COVID. So I'm sure you're hearing a lot of this in general too, you know, just with family and this time this year.
Yeah, well, first of all, when we talk about people who've been fully vaccinated who are getting COVID, there's a couple of things. One is these shots don't last forever. We know that. That's why we're getting boosters. So if someone hasn't been boosted and it's been, 8, 9, 10 months since they had their last shot, since they finished the series, they are vulnerable. They have some protection. But even for someone who's fully vaccinated, fully boosted, this isn't 100%. This is the seatbelt. This is when you get in the car, and if you don't have a seatbelt and you get in a crash, you're going to die. And if you have the seatbelt, you finally, you may be fine, you may get hurt. But that's what this is. And as you were just talking about before I came on, there are variants out there. And the reason that we have variants is because of people who are unvaccinated. If 100% of people were vaccinated, it would be gone. We would get rid of it. The pandemic would be over. But because there are people who are not vaccinated, that's who she got it from. She likely got it from someone who was unvaccinated. These variants, the South African variant is of great concern. I don't know. Do you know I just came back from South Africa 2 weeks ago?
Yes. I want to hear about your trip too, but did that...
Yeah. But so anyway, so the point is if everyone would get vaccinated, if everyone would get boosted, we could be done with this, but right now we're going to continue to have things emerge. And I'm assuming that she does well. We know these breakthrough infections tend to be much milder. When you look at, I'm at Northwestern Hospital, and when you look at the statistics there, 90% of the people that are hospitalized are unvaccinated. 10% are vaccinated. Many of them have underlying conditions. But, the other thing is that you said, she reminds me, thank you for saying I'm, fit and healthy and all that. But as you know,
well, you are.
I had COVID a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's exactly 1 year, obviously pre-vaccine. And when I got COVID, everyone was like, "Oh, well, you're fit, you're healthy.
Yeah.
I don't have any underlying conditions." And as you know, I was in the hospital. I was very close to a ventilator. I was ill for about 4 months, and fortunately, I'm fine now. But the point is that while the chances are much higher that someone is going to get on a ventilator or get very sick or die if they have an underlying condition or they're overweight or they're older, it can happen to anybody. Young, healthy kids have died. So we can't get complacent, and that's, my concern is that the airports are now overloaded. There are lots of places when people are walking around without a mask because, hey, what's the big deal? It's over. It's not over.
No.
It's not over.
Not at all.
I wish it was.
I want to ask you this. So as someone who had COVID and then you were vaccinated, are your side effects still lingering? Are they still with you? And if they're not, how long did it take you to get over what you had lost or what you need to gain back?
Yeah, everybody's different. I was short of breath and had limited activity for about 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
I did have, I had pneumonia. It was most of my lungs that were affected. And when I had a CT of my lungs a couple of months ago, I was told I still have COVID changes. I have COVID scarring. But fortunately, it's not anything I'm aware of. I'm really pretty much back to baseline. But everybody's different. You know, when we talk about long haulers and we talk about lingering side effects and some things that could potentially be forever, my experience is not necessarily anyone else's experience. And one of the things that makes me crazy when I hear people say, oh, you know, COVID's no big deal and only X number of people are dying only, you know.
Oh, my gosh, I know.
I mean, aside from all the people dying, we have people that are having lifelong medical consequences of this. So this is going to continue to be an issue. But I am so lucky. I mean, I really have nothing right now. But what's funny is when you talk about getting the vaccine, what happens is when someone's had COVID and they get the vaccine, they tend to get sicker. It's like your body saying, whoa, I remember.
Really?
That, you know,
okay.
Into action. So when I had my first 2 standard vaccines, each time I was sick, fever, chills, in bed for about 3-4 days. When I got my booster a little over a month ago, I was so sick, and I timed it. I just predicted.
Wow. For how long? For a couple of days?
4 days. I was really sick for 3 days.
3 days, okay.
Fever, chills, miserable. Did not feel back to myself for 4 days. Was it worth it? Of course it was worth it. I'm going to, do it again. But the other data that just came out that's so interesting is that what we're finding is that people who are getting boosted, that booster dose tends to really kick your body into memory action so that it seems to be lasting longer. And that's really important. So people get boosted. We don't know yet because this is all very new, but it appears that the immunologic response is even higher with the booster than with the first 2 shots, which is probably why I got sicker. And so I'm optimistic that I may not need to get boosted hopefully too soon. The other thing I hear a lot from people who don't get vaccinated or from patients is, well, I had COVID. I tested positive, and therefore I don't need to get vaccinated because I have natural antibodies. And that's simply not true. First of all, those antibodies don't last. They wane over time. And second of all, you have antibodies to the specific strain that you got vaccinated for. But the beauty of the vaccine is that it covers multiple strains, including a lot of these emerging strains. So that is not an excuse. The old, I had COVID, therefore I don't need to get vaccinated.
I'm glad you told the booster story, too, because I was going to ask you about that, and it makes sense now. But when I get so I had Pfizer, first shot, fine, second shot, a little, punky is the old-fashioned term that they used to say. But when I got my booster, Dr. Streicher, probably for a good 24 to 36 hours, I was just no energy, laid on the couch. Yeah. It was the day that the Sky won the championship, the Chicago Sky. So I just laid there, watched the game, watched the celebration, could not get off the couch until the next afternoon, and then it was like nothing, totally fine. So, and that makes sense because of what you just said, that your body is it kind of saying, okay, here it comes again?
Here it comes again, and now I'm really going to blast an immune response. So
okay.
The good news to that is it means that you are probably really, really protected, which means you should still wear a mask.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%. And I don't even mind doing that. I've seen a couple of plays over the past week, too. What is the big deal? You sit there with your mask on, you're protecting yourself, you're protecting everybody else. It's really not that big of a deal. Just wear the mask.
So speaking of plays and speaking of Beatles,
yeah.
Last night I saw the play at Chicago Shakes, As You Like It, which is done to Beatles music.
Oh, very cool.
It was so it's towards the end of the run, but if you can get tickets, it's so worthwhile. It's a terrific show, and it was also everyone's just so happy to be back in the theater. It's really very special. So it was a terrific, fun night. Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and as you said, wear the masks. We'll all get past this, too. I have one more question for you on this particular topic because this is completely in your wheelhouse. So I know kids are getting the vaccine now, 5 to 12, correct? They're eligible. Yes.
Children.
Yes.
Not even toddlers, children, ages 5 to 6. So my goddaughter falls in that age bracket. She's 9. So her mom on Thanksgiving said, I'm so nervous. She wants to get vaccinated, but she's nervous because obviously she's a young woman, before she becomes a young woman. She's 9 years old. She's worried about, again, and these are probably all myths, but ask the expert, and you are the expert.
I know.
You know where I'm going, right? Yeah. She's worried about what happens, years from now when she becomes a woman or has her own children. Yeah. How do you answer that?
It's very easy. You know,
Okay.
and this is part of people who have an agenda on the far, anti-vax right wing, who's trying to get people to not get vaccinated, scares everyone to death with stories of infertility, and it's a microchip, and it's going to change your DNA. It's all nonsense. You know, what you have to remember is yes, it's a new vaccine. Vaccines have been around for a very long time, and she hasn't hesitated to vaccinate her daughter with, other life-saving vaccines, and this is no different. And when you look at things like, even you hear things about that it's going to change your menstrual cycle or it's going to make you infertile, and the vaccine has now been around long enough that it's been studied, and that is absolutely simply not true. We know that stress and anxiety can throw off someone's period for a month or two, and people get so stressed out about this, and that they'll say, I got the vaccine and then I didn't get my period, and it was because of the vaccine. It's no, because you were stressed about the vaccine. And by the same token, there was a study that just came out, actually from the United Kingdom, a big study, looking at the effect of having COVID on menstrual cycles and fertility, and it has no effect at all, any more than any other acute illness. Anytime you get sick, doesn't matter what it is, any acute illness, bad flu, whatever, can throw your period off for a couple of months. COVID is the same. You don't want to get pregnant when you have COVID. And in fact, that's a whole other thing with the people who are pregnant or getting planning to get pregnant. They absolutely need to get vaccinated because they have almost an 8-fold chance of dying if they get COVID, 70% higher chance of getting on a ventilator. It's a disaster for pregnant women. And the vaccine is perfectly safe. So it's really not controversial if you follow the science and if you talk to the medical people. It's only controversial if you go on misinformation websites and talk to people with an agenda. But it's very straightforward. Her daughter should be vaccinated. Every adult should be vaccinated. Everyone should get boosted. This isn't, when the polio vaccine came out, there was none of this nonsense.
No.
Everyone danced in the street and got vaccinated.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. I know. And I've seen all those memes too and all those gifs. So yeah, I'm so glad you answered that because, that was a big thing. And I thought that was going to be the response, but, you're the expert, and if you say it's safe, it's safe. You're telling your patients that. I saw you on the Channel 9 News with Robin and Larry. Back in studio. I know you were excited to be back in the studio with Robin and Larry. Back on the Channel 9 News. And you guys were talking about zinc curing colds and how likely it is to pick up nasty bugs from public bathrooms. And that was another thing I heard on Thanksgiving, Dr. Streicher, is that someone would sneeze and say, oh, it's just a cold, it's not COVID. I think we're going to be hearing that for such a long time. I mean, if you sneeze, if you cough, if you clear your throat, it's like, it's not COVID. So how are we going to start telling the difference between common cold, onset of COVID, and if we go to the doctor just to say, hey, I'm not feeling great, are we going to have to be COVID tested for the near future?
Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, as home tests become less expensive and easier to get, there's going to be a lot of home testing, as there should be. And quite frankly, in some countries, home tests are free. They should be here until we get a handle on this. But I do think people need to stock up on those home tests, and if there's any doubt, they should do a home test. The other thing that's interesting also that's come out of this is that if you look back 3-4 years ago, you would never see people just walking around with a mask. But yet, if you are in Asia, or a lot of the Asian folks who live here, if they had a cold or a flu or anything, they would automatically put on a mask as a courtesy to everyone else around them.
Right.
And I think that's, on one hand, we always think, oh, my God, that looks so silly. But on the other hand, no, it's actually the right thing to do. And when you look back over the last couple of years, the flu numbers were lower than they've been, since, I don't know how many years, in a long time, because people are being better about washing their hands and putting masks on. And I think there's nothing good that comes out of COVID. Don't get me wrong on this.
Right.
But one of the good that we can take out of this is it's not just about spreading COVID. It's spreading everything. And certainly you can tell the difference between a cold, usually in COVID. A cold, you don't get the aches, you don't get the muscle aches, you don't get that fluish feeling. It's just, more of an upper respiratory thing. But I think we can't test too much. I think we can't be too careful. For our Thanksgiving, we had a family that was supposed to come and to join our group. And earlier in the day, one of the woman said that she felt foolish, and she was running a low-grade temperature, and she was She did a COVID test, and it was negative, and they did the right thing. And they said, but it was a home test. It wasn't a PCR.
Yeah.
Where the whole family stayed home, and now all three of them are sick. So quite frankly, even if it's the flu, which we hope it is, they're all getting tested, we didn't all need to be exposed to the flu. So I think, if anything, it might be a little bit of an overreaction, but it's also the right thing to do.
I'm glad you brought up flu shot too, because this is another age question that I've just been hearing a lot of, either in the media or in general. It's flu shot time. Can you get the flu shot and the booster shot at the same time?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
I went to CVS, and one arm was the booster, and one arm was my flu shot. And the pharmacist who gave me the shot was this lovely woman, and she said, "I've seen you on WGS."
Nice.
You're getting both.
She's like, "Go to the end of the line."
But so not to switch gears on you, but we're talking about getting hot and having the flu and.
No, I want to talk about this. Yeah.
Let's talk about getting hot with hot flashes, because as you know, I've written a whole series of books on menopause, and my last book that just came out is called Hot Flash Hell. Hot Flash Hell,
which I'm about to buy every single copy of that, by the way. But go ahead.
I think everybody should. And it's basically, as I said on my Instagram, and for those of you out there who aren't following me on Instagram, please do, because I don't have many followers. I'm just getting going on it. But I thought it was a very cute post that said the only thing that should be roasting on Thanksgiving is your turkey.
That's right.
And because we have 80% of women as they go through menopause and are in menopause have hot flashes. Most of them are not getting treated because they think it's not going to last too long, or they think that those hot flashes aren't going to harm them, or they think that there's, no safe or effective remedies, and none of those things are true. And no woman should suffer. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it absolutely is. All right, so let's take that segue now. And your website, by the way, is fantastic. It's drstreicher.com, and anything and everything, any topic or any concern that you have, you just click on the little link. And I'm segueing to talk about the Cannabis and Menopause survey.
Yes. Well, so as far as my website, it's interesting because with these books I've written, I have to admit I'm putting more energy into the books and less into my website. So, for example, a lot of the hot flash content that was on my website, it's now all in the books. So I do have a lot of stuff there, and I have a lot of videos, but I'm also moving it over to my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Streicher TV. But the cannabis thing is really interesting because what happened is when I was writing Hot Flash How, and I have a chapter on every single remedy you can think of. They've got, of course, estrogen and non-estrogen and hormonal stuff and lifestyle and blah, blah, blah. So I thought, well, I'm going to do a little section on cannabis because I know a lot of people are using cannabis for hot flashes. And then the more I started to read about it and learn about it and research it, I realized, wow, I could do a whole chapter on this. And then I kept going, and I thought, I could do a whole book on this.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's so interesting. So I did not do a book. I just have a really good chapter on cannabis. But one of the things that I've been doing is there's so little research. And one of the things is that there's only been a couple of studies that look at the number of women who are using cannabis to relieve not just hot flashes, but other menopause symptoms like insomnia and vaginal dryness, and problems having orgasm and all that kind of stuff. And I found out that there's the studies that have been done, which are very, very bad, kind of range from 25% to 75% of women use cannabis. And I thought, well, I know it's higher than that just based on my patients in the clinic that I run.
Yeah.
So I've been doing my own survey, which you can find on, it's everywhere. It's on my Instagram, it's on my Facebook, it's on drstreicher.com. And so basically it's a survey of, do you use cannabis to relieve menopause symptoms? And if you do use it, what do you use? Meaning indica or sativa or THC, and how do you use it? Do you vape it? Do you use an edible? Do you use drops under the tongue? And then most important is, has it helped you? Is it helping your symptoms? And I've had a few hundred people who've answered the survey so far, and it's fascinating.
And the majority of people saying that that this has helped, whatever form of cannabis.
They're saying it has helped. Now,
okay.
It's not science. Science, there's a placebo effect. You have to have people, half the people smoking half pot and half the people smoking real pot to know if it really works. But the perception is that it's helping. But the science is such that I believe that it does help. There's good reason to believe that it helps, and I dive into that science in the book, of course. And also I have a Facebook Live and stuff, which is all on my YouTube channel that I talk about the science of cannabis and menopause. But the other piece to this, in addition to the fact that people are using it, it does seem to help them, is a lot of people, they don't know. They're just on their own trying to figure it out because no one's helping them. Their doctors certainly don't know. The dispensary people certainly don't know. And so they're just kind of making it up. And some people by chance are using the right stuff and some people are not. So part of what I do in this chapter is to direct women to say, if you're going to do this, this is how you do it. This is what you should use. This is how you should use it. In general, menopause women should really be careful with edibles because menopause women metabolize much more slowly than other people. Yeah. Another thing most people are not aware of. So there's this idea that cannabis, it's like, hey, there's no symptoms, it's no problem, and that's never true. You have to know how to do it. You have to know the dosage. You have to know the safest way. But having said that, I have done so much research, and I'm talking to my patients about it now openly, which so many of them are relieved because they were using it and thought they couldn't bring it up. And what I'm finding is that women really appreciate this information, and they're benefiting from it. And even for women that use estrogen, what we know is there's something called the Entourage Effect, where if you combine estrogen and cannabis together, they work better together than either one separately. And again, there's good science behind that to explain it. So there's so much, so much that, and I'm trying as best as I can to get the information out there because women are really suffering. They're not sleeping. They can't work. They can't think. Yeah, hot flashes on average last 7 to 10 years, particularly in black women. They last even longer. And the doctors aren't telling them about it. Whenever someone says, should I talk to my doctor about it? And I always say no, because chances are your doctor is really not going to be an expert, quite frankly. Some are. I'm not the only one. But I will tell you that I run the Center for Menopause at Northwestern, and the website for people who are interested is sexmedmenopause.nm.org. And I would say about 90% of the women that come to our clinic are self-referred. Their doctors didn't send them. They found their way there because their own doctors weren't helping them. And the doctors that are probably best about sending their patients, quite frankly, are the cancer doctors. Because so many women, especially young women in their 30s, even 20s, 30s, 40s, go into menopause as a consequence of cancer treatment. Mm-hmm. And the oncologists have, now know that we're there. And so they are sending, patients to us on a very regular basis. But other than that, for the most part, women are finding their own way.
Well, I'm sending everybody to your website, drstreicher.com. It's just a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information. And your books, Hot Flash Hell, Slip Sliding Away, all available, your newest ones, on Amazon, right?
On Amazon. Yeah. The other one is Slip Sliding Away, Turning Back the Clock on Your Vagina. So just, real quick, what I decided to do is instead of writing one huge encyclopedic book on menopause, I realized most women just want to know how to fix their problem. So that's why I'm doing this series. So the first one is Slip Sliding Away, Turning Back the Clock on Your Vagina, everything you always wanted to know. It's never too late. The second one is Hot Flash Hell. The third one, which will probably come out late spring, early summer, is Putting the O Back in Your Mojo. I think you all can.
Oh, fantastic. Good. I think we all can relate to that.
And then, if they keep selling, quite frankly, I'll keep going. I've got 7 or 8 planned. Right now, interestingly, Slip Sliding Away is selling really well. Hot Flash Hell has been a little bit slower to pick up, but it is newer. And it's quite frankly, I think it's better even than Slip Sliding Away. And I have a character, a very wonderful, fun character called Francie, who her story is interwoven throughout both of these books as she's going through all these changes. And my husband that we were talking about earlier, the Beatles fan, is a singer-songwriter, and he wrote Francie's theme song.
Oh, very cool.
Fabulous.
Oh, that's awesome. You guys,
so if you go on my Instagram, on my YouTube channel, just Google Francie's theme song. It comes right up, and we have a dancing Francie who is the character in the book. So, I take it. I mean, look, menopause is dry.
Right. Hey, you are the best. I know I've kept you, and your husband's probably saying, get back to the moving boxes, because I know you're right in the middle of doing that. So thank you so much for taking time out today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And we'll talk soon.
You got it. That is the great Dr. Lauren Streicher. You can get more information on her, Dr. Streicher, STREICHER.com. Again, everything she says is completely invaluable. And we started off the conversation after we talked about the Beatles by saying, get out there, please get your flu shot and get your booster shot now. All right, Steve Bernas with the Better Business Bureau next on WCPT.
The WCPT 820 Club is here.
How do you join, you ask?
It's easy. All you have to do is head over to WCPT820.com to register.
Be the first to know of WCPT events and contests.
Once you're registered, you can take part in caption contests, polls, trivia, surveys, and games.
Go to WCPT820.com, look for the WCPT 820 Club tab in the menu, and follow the instructions from there.
Contests running on WCPT 820 are open to Chicagoland residents 18 and over. Complete rules at WCPT820.com.
This is John Daniel, President and Business Manager of the Sheet Metal Workers of Smart Local 265. The principles that guide me are rooted in the simple belief that united we stand and divided we fall. We the people must recognize that a diverse environment with unique points of view is the foundation for success. A culture where labor and management work together inspires innovation, promotes inclusion, creates a sustainable growth for business, the workforce, and our communities. When the entrepreneur's vision is developed and improved with the voice of a unionized workforce, you build more than just a product, you build a stronger future. I want to personally thank everyone who voted for President Biden. He believes in unions. Blue Collar Biden signed the American Rescue Act of 2021, which secures vested pension benefits. It funds improvements of indoor air quality in K-12 schools and provides additional Paycheck Protection Program loans to support small businesses. This is John Daniel from Smart Local 265. Join me in celebrating a return to sanity and a sustainable middle class. Stay union strong.
Looking for the perfect gift? Get him a shirt from Untuck It. Now you can get up to 50% off with the Black Friday sale happening right now at Untuck It. Untuck It shirts are designed to be worn untucked. They're the easiest way to keep them looking sharp and feeling comfortable. You can't go wrong with our super soft flannels and wrinkle-free shirts, so don't miss it. Up to 50% off for a limited time only. Find the perfect gift for every guy in your list at untuckit.com or 80+ Untuck It stores. Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked.
This is a national healthcare alert from the 24/7 Diabetic Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one has diabetes, listen closely. Now, regardless of your age, if you have insurance, you may qualify to receive diabetic testing supplies with little to no out-of-pocket cost. Get free delivery, free information, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers for free. Call the 24/7 Diabetic Health Hotline now for details. Toll free at this number. But wait, there's more. If you call right now, you could get a meter upgrade. In addition, we'll give you a free pair of diabetic socks as our special gift to you. Regardless of your age, if you suffer with diabetes and have insurance, you may qualify to get free delivery of your supplies.
800-442-0819, 800-442-0819, 800-442-0819. That's 800-442-0819.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're looking at the big picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
Andrea Darlas in for Edwin today. He'll be back with you next week. Hope you're all enjoying your nice holiday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend here. It's 40 degrees right now. Not too bad. Much better than the 22 it was earlier today. But this is, in fact, a holiday weekend. I know Black Friday was on Friday, although a lot of these sales... Paul, I used to be one of these people like Black Friday. No kidding. I would go to the stores.
Oh, you would be the one there, like
Yeah.
6 in the morning, 5 in the morning?
Yeah, maybe not when they open, but I just love the bargains. You know, you can get in before, say, like 10 o'clock, but now the Black Friday sales are, 2 weeks ago they started.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they got to compete with online shopping anyway.
Yeah, the brick and mortar, it's all 99.9% is online right now, and some don't even. Remember for a while pre-COVID they were pulling their they were starting Black Friday on like Thanksgiving morning or Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the Wednesday called before Thanksgiving?
Black Wednesday.
Is it called is it Blackout Wednesday?
I think just Black
Because
Wednesday.
all the kids come home from college and reconnect and
That's always
hang
like
out
the
with their friends from home.
Busiest night at the bars, I suppose.
Yeah. Back in the day. Back when I could have more than a glass of wine and not pass out by 7 o'clock. But it's, like I said, it's Black Friday yesterday. All the sales are going on. I keep getting texts galore, like 25% off and, 30% off. But Cyber Monday is Monday and Giving Tuesday is on Tuesday. The Monday following Black Friday is known as Cyber Monday. It's become one of the top shopping days of the year. So do you go on on Cyber Monday, or is it just
yeah.
whenever you are able to, you go on and shop?
Whenever I never think to shop on Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
I guess that's, I should try it this year to see if there's any good deals. But I'm the type of person that does my Christmas shopping usually like the weekend before or the week
you do.
of.
You
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the procrastinator.
Yep.
God, I used to get all mine done. And I proudly say this, but now you got to watch all these return policies, because I used to buy all my Christmas gifts. If it's my mom or someone like that, I'll buy from Macy's or North. One of the clothes type stores.
Yeah.
But most of those now you have to return it within 30 days, and Amazon is like that too for a lot of things.
Which you're like just now getting into the window right now.
So now, exactly. So now you'd have to start, right. So now would be the time, post-Thanksgiving. But we're going to talk to Steve Bernas here in a second, talking about Cyber Monday. Beware of false advertising and phony websites. These are a lot of the problems that we're facing now, and you want to make sure you shop with trustworthy sellers on secure sites only. So we're going to talk to Steve Bernas in just a second here, but we've had a couple of phone calls. Let me try to get to some of your calls here. I know Edwin tends to take calls toward the end of the program, but we're going to take some calls today early on, 773-763-9278. Steve, thank you so much for holding on the line. You wanted to chat with us today. How are you?
Yes, I'd called in. I wanted to make a couple of points with regard to the COVID issue. But
yeah, please.
Also in terms of the issue that you were just discussing, I can't be the only person that keeps getting these phone calls letting me know that any number of credit card companies are willing to reduce my rate to zero in perpetuity.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so be wary of that. I mean, basically, it's just people phishing. They're trying to get you to give them your information.
Yeah, the scam calls.
Exactly. So, yeah.
I'm going to have Steve Bernas about that, too, because I get those all the time, those ridiculous scam calls.
Yeah, and the reason I called in was to address this whole phenomenon of COVID, because, I think that, as being typical Americans, we were under the impression that there was just going to come a day when life was just going to return to normal and we could just go back to our old lives and that's it. COVID would be over, a distant memory, and, we'd think about it on something on the History Channel 20 years from now. But the reality is it's likely to be here in perpetuity. You're going to have to get shots probably every year like you get flu shots. And the fact is that despite the fact that we have access to vaccines here in the developed world, especially the United States, we sort of front-loaded our buy-in and made sure that, whoever developed the vaccines, we get first shot at them. But that doesn't mean the rest of the world has it. And the fact that the rest of the world doesn't have it, and yet we rely upon the rest of the world for a lot of the things that we buy, and we still have international travel, means that, mutations will happen and new strains will emerge. And again, it's all about getting vaccinated. It's not just about getting vaccinated here, but we've got to invest in getting the whole world access to vaccines. Otherwise, unless you plan to just ban international travel, which is obviously impractical,
right?
It's going to continue to be a global threat. But as you were discussing with your guest, I don't necessarily believe that you're going to see a world without COVID in the future, but we can mitigate the deaths and illness to a point that, yes, we can have some semblance of the world before COVID back.
Absolutely.
And, so, well, I'm not saying that you're going to be wearing masks in restaurants for the rest of your life. Now, if you're immunocompromised, yes, you might.
Sure.
But, it's not the end of the world. Anybody who's traveled to Asia knows that, long before COVID, you get on mass transit in Asia, people wore masks. It's simply the case that, densely populated areas of the world realize that, things can spread very easily in those kinds of environments.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think we're never going to see. Thank you so much, Steve, for the call. Happy Thanksgiving weekend, by the way. I appreciate you holding on for so long. But I do think that we are going to be wearing masks on airlines for a long time. I don't think that's going to go away. Just like taking our shoes off after 9/11. I mean, I think that was 2002 or 2003, which was Richard Reed, the the man who tried to light his shoes on fire. That's why we all take our shoes off now at the airport. Believe it or not, anyone listening who, wasn't alive during 9/11, it wasn't always like this. You could just walk through the airport with your shoes on, but now because of that, much the same I think we're going to see now with masks for air travel. But what Steve was just talking about was the Omicron coronavirus variant. That's what Dr. Fauci was on CNN today talking about this morning, that they knew this was coming. Of course, it's a variant of coronavirus, COVID-19, but Dr. Fauci was saying that viruses mutate constantly. South Africa's health minister announced the discovery of this new variant, which he says appears to be spreading rapidly. That was probably the strongest reminder yet that the pandemic is not over, nor will it be anytime soon. The United States, the United Kingdom banning travel from South Africa and the surrounding African countries as well because of that. But Steve did refer to a couple of scam calls that he'd been getting. Thought that would be a perfect way to segue now to Steve Bernas, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good afternoon, Andrea. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your weekend. I know this is a busy weekend for you too, and I stole you away from your daughter, and I know you're busy with your family, but I really thought it was important for you to come on and chat with us because this is such a shopping weekend. I mean, whether it's Black Friday or Giving Tuesday or Cyber Monday, we are all going to be online at some point this weekend or over the next couple of days, starting our holiday shopping. So, and the scammers, they know all about us, Steve. They're ready for us.
They're ready for us. They're waiting for us, and I'm glad to join you today anytime, Andrea. Yes, what we're concerned about is these fake websites. That seems to be the concern this particular time of the year, regardless, but also since the pandemic, Andrea, the scams have increased, and in 2020, online scams were the number one scams reported to our scam tracker report. So it's just really consumers knowing that there's some bad businesses out there and there's some scammers out there, but majority there are good businesses out there. Unfortunately, you just got to find the right ones and make sure you're not duped by the bad businesses.
How do you know, Steve? All right, so I'll be either on Facebook or Instagram, and because it knows my algorithm, it'll pop up a cool sweater that I'd looked at, whether it's Ralph Lauren or Tommy Hilfiger, whatever it is. I'll see that, and if you click on it, you do have to be careful because it's not necessarily taking you to the Ralph Lauren website or the Macy's website, whatever the reputable dealer is, it's taking me to a fake website. How do I know the difference? How can I tell?
That's a good point, Andrea. That's what most consumers don't realize, that they're on Facebook or other social media sites that they can go to a trusted partner. It may not be. Those scammers may have bought advertisements on those websites or following you around as the other companies do. So in the old days, you used to determine an incorrect website or fraudulent website just by looking at it with spellings and things of that nature. Today, you really can't tell the difference. They copy and paste everything now to make it look like a regular website. The key is the URL, or what's called the web address, to make certain it is that company's website. And again, if you don't know that company, I would not click on that link until you figure out who they are and do some background on them, because again, you can't tell the difference between a legitimate website or not. And then there's so many fraudulent websites out there, and you either might not get any goods, you might get goods from China, counterfeit goods, and may just want to steal your identification as well. So it's really doing your due diligence and really zero trust on those links until you find out that particular company is legitimate in some way. But it's best to go to the website directly of the companies that you know and trust.
We're talking to Steve Bernas, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau. And Steve, you came out with a wonderful checklist when you're online shopping, not just for Cyber Monday and for the holidays, but all throughout the year. And you just touched on number one, beware of false advertising and phony websites, and of course shopping with trustworthy sellers on secure sites only. And you give some great tips, including keep your antivirus software up to date.
Exactly. Most people just have it installed and don't do anything about it or don't automatically update it. So you make sure that your antivirus software on both your computer and your mobile device is up to date, and that you have the patches available that were given to you by the manufacturer of that particular virus. It usually prevents the pop of phishing scams and keeping your personal information safe out there as well.
You always say, I think I ask you this often when I'm shopping online, because I'm a big online shopper. I always have been. Is it safe to use your credit card? And you always say, yes, it is the safest to use your credit card, because you can always check back with your credit card company and make sure that you actually did make these purchases.
Exactly. Your credit card is your safest bet buying online or offline. Even if you have the money or, in an offline store, and you want to purchase, it's best to use your credit card because you have 3 billing cycles to dispute the charge in any way. If you use your debit card, you still have some protection, not as great as your credit card. But when they, if they steal your, debit card information and start taking money out of your account, guess what? That's your money. The bank is not going to put the money back into your account until it's resolved. So, we had, many people call us and, the bank is disputing with the bank, but it can take 2 or 3 months. And guess what? They can't pay their mortgage or they can't pay their phone bill because all the money is now being held by the bank. Whereas your credit card company, they really, they put the money back into your account or put a hold on it rather. So you're not liable for that particular matter. And again, the tip off to the rip off is never use any unconventional payment methods. And what I mean by that, Andrea, is not any like gift cards, payment by, or wiring money. That is clearly the sign of a ripoff.
Glad you bring up the gift cards too, Steve, and return policies, because online store policies might change for Cyber Monday as compared to the rest of the year.
Exactly. Sometimes at the end of the year, getting closer towards the end of the year, a big sale, they might put down no refunds, no exchanges. Again, most consumers don't realize it is not a guarantee. It's a privilege, really, not a right. So it's up to each store to, set their own policies, and therefore you should ask ahead of time, not after you buy it, because, as you know, if it's a clearance item or end-of-the-year sale or sometimes even a doorbuster, they may not take it back, and it might not have the no refunds exchanges policy. So you have to ask that question, especially in the online world as well, because, is there a restocking fee or who's paying shipping back? There's a lot of questions to be asked, so make sure that you read the policies ahead of time before doing business with them, because, again, it's just a privilege, not a right.
Yeah, and Steve, right before you joined us, we had a call from our friend Steve from the Lincoln Park area, who was saying he's getting so many scam calls, and you always say, watch out for the scam calls and these phishing scams. I'm not talking F-I-S-H, these are P-H-I-S-H phishing scams.
Exactly. It's really getting to be zero trust of phone calls and phishing scams. And what I mean by that is we'd rather you not answer your phones, let it go to voicemail and see what kind of message they leave you. Then the phone number, you could do some checking on them before returning their call. And again, sometimes scammers leave messages. Sometimes they go onto the next person as well. But just be very careful. And the phishing scams are just people that want you to click on a link without knowing anything about them or what they want. And not only from fake stores, but there's also, the Secretary of State issued a warning, the Social Security Administration issued a warning. And, there's always these text or emails that your driver's license has expired. They knew it now, click here. And then they click it there. They can, put malware on your computer or spam, or in worst case scenario, they can, hold your computer hostage, depending on what kind of software they're using against you. So it's really best not to click on any links. If you do get an email from the Secretary of State, call them up or, go to the website directly to the Secretary of State and ask them those questions. But consumers, companies won't, companies and governmental agencies are not going to call you up and ask you for your confidential information. And they always want you to act in, 30 minutes or less. And as I said many times, the only thing you do in 30 minutes is buy pizza. Everything else you investigate before you invest.
Yeah, and I've gotten some of these links, and they are from reputable companies like Amazon or PayPal, and it says, oh, your account is not up to date, click here. Or you have a problem, click here. And don't ever click on any of those.
Exactly. Call the company itself.
Right.
They look like they're coming from Amazon, but they're imposter emails or UPS or FedEx. And they're just throwing it to everybody, and hopefully that somebody that is expecting a package will click on it. Hey, I'm not getting my package. So they'll click on it, and it's not an Amazon URL. It's a fake email, and then they want you to click on a link that could be fraudulent and do some damage to your computer. So again, just to reiterate, if you do get one of these emails, do not click on those links. Call the company itself, or go to the website of the company itself directly. Click on those links and ask them, did you send me an email? And again, most times when they're asking for information, account numbers or Social Security numbers, or the government saying you're going to go to jail from the IRS, we got many of those calls. I think you got one too, Andrea.
I did, yes.
Yeah, and your mom and others.
Oh, yeah.
Other people in the media. And the IRS doesn't do that. Nobody does that, threatens you over to text. You don't do something in 30 minutes or less. And again, that's the tip-off to the rip-off.
No, that was what I've called you so many times over the years, Steve, because anytime I get scammed or someone takes my identity or something happens, you're literally the first person I call, even before I call the credit card company and whatnot. But that was one of my favorites where I said, oh, my God, the IRS says that I owe them $10,000. And you said, yeah, it must be media day because Tracy Butler got the call, Gina got that. Everybody was getting the call that day, and then we're all calling you.
Exactly. We want people to call us, Andrea, ahead of time. That's what the Better Business Bureau is founded, to provide information, education ahead of time, and also will help you after with complaints, but we'd rather you call us first to stay away from the bad actors. And we do need the public's help because, as you know, we have a scam tracker that keeps track of scams all across North America. So if you see a scam, even if you don't fall for it, somebody will.
Yeah.
That's the only way we put scammers out of business, is not to give new business. So we do appreciate the calls. I appreciate the calls from your lovely mother as well.
Yes.
But, we want consumers to call us first before doing business. And also you can find business you can trust, too, at the BBB.org.
Yes.
So what I mean by that, we are a referral agency. So if you need a heating company, new car, or waterproofing, whatever it may be, you can get a list of easy accredited businesses. You have that seal, and it's usually the sign of a better business.
Yeah, and like you said, Steve, don't ever feel bad. Don't feel silly. I mean, I never do. It has nothing to. It has everything to do with not getting scammed. Pride aside, don't feel bad. Don't feel silly. We're talking to Steve Bernas, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau, about Cyber Monday and different scams that you have to watch out for, both phishing and on your cell phone too. Steve, hold on the line real quick. I want to come back and talk with you about Giving Tuesday. It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin Eisendrath. After this on WCPT.
This is Gary Menzel from Roofers and Waterproofers Local 11. Are you happy with your job, or are you looking for a new and exciting career? Wouldn't you like to get up early every morning and head into work so that you could be home early to take your kids to baseball, basketball, or gymnastics practice? Consider a career with us. We're professionally skilled roofers and waterproofers, OSHA trained for on-the-job safety, and our union is growing. Construction remains strong in Illinois and Wisconsin, where we just recently opened a brand new apprenticeship training center near Madison. Union roofers and waterproofers work outside in the fresh air every day, and we get paid well for the hard work we do. We have family health care and a pension plan that you'll be glad you have when you're planning your retirement someday. We want you to earn a living wage and learn to work safely. So if you're ready to join Roofers and Waterproofers Local 11, give us a call, 708-345-0970, and learn more about us at rooferslocal11.org.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Saturday. You're a veteran who served our country and can use a VA loan to either purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, but you don't know who you can trust. Team Hochberg respects your service and has VA loan experts available right now to answer your questions and help you secure a VA loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners secure VA loans, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Legal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
We've all been spending more time indoors than usual, but FinishingChicago.com has an offer to update your interior. Whether your space is residential or commercial, for a limited time you can save up to 25% on painting and decorating. FinishingChicago.com has the most dynamic interior spaces available from industry-leading union craftspeople. That's union quality, efficiency, and industry-leading expertise in your home or commercial space. Visit FinishingChicago.com to find a contractor in your area. This unprecedented access to union quality labor at a reduced rate is only available for a limited time. Revitalize your spaces with fine decorative upgrades applied by the most knowledgeable craftspeople in the industry. Whether it's a new color or transforming your walls into something truly special, our contractors have all the options. Take advantage of FinishingChicago.com's Update Your Interior savings before they're gone. For up to 25% off your new finish, start with FinishingChicago.com.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
Happy Thanksgiving weekend to you, Andrea Darlas, in for Edwin Eisendrath. We continue our conversation with Steve Bernas, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau, talking about Cyber Monday and encouraging you to beware of false advertising and phony websites and scam calls and phishing scams. Another big day online and for shoppers will be Giving Tuesday. And Steve, you also have some great tips for donating on Giving Tuesday, some very wise advice from the Better Business Bureau.
We do. Giving Tuesday has been around since 2012, and since that time, about $1 billion was raised for charities across the world, and it's a great opportunity to donate. But we want you to give, but give wisely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of fake charities out there, or charities with similar names to those that you have donated in the past, and they call you up, and they may use a telemarketing firm to call you up and try to solicit donations. But remember, a lot of times the telemarketing companies make 90 cents on a dollar on the donation. So you really have to determine the charity itself and go to them and look at their financials. It's not really a spot decision should be made donating a charity, unless it's a charity that you know and you've donated in the past. But if it's somebody calling you out of the blue, or somebody wanting your money, quickly, again, that 30-minute rule, like, you got to make a donation now, because any legitimate charity will want your money today, tomorrow, next year, 2 years from now. So they're not going to rush you. So you got to really, watch for those similar name charities. It could be, like, instead of American Cancer Society, may say Cancer American Society or something like that. They kind of change around a few words. You're donating to the cause you want to, and review the website carefully. Responsible charity will always have facts, missions, and program services and goals on the website, and review that information. But also, you can ask more information from that charity before you donate to them, because you want to know where your money's going, and it's going to a proper cause, and are they capable of handling this, and how much is going to the administrator's pockets, and how much is going to the charity, and especially if they're using a telemarketing firm, because again, most consumers don't realize it could be 90 cents on a dollar going to a telemarketer.
I'm so glad you said watch out for the name similarities too, Steve, because I remember after one of I think it was after Hurricane Katrina, that the American Red Cross was taking all kinds of donations, but you had brought it to everyone's attention that, there's a lot of these scammers out there, these scam charities or these scam organizations that just switch the name, like you said, and then boom, it's completely, your money's not even going to the original charity for which it was intended.
Exactly. A lot of times it happens with charities, with the cancer charities, because there's so many different ones out there. So it's important to make sure it's the charity and trust. And again, it could be one word changed, or it could be one letter changed in the URL. So you have to make sure, before you give, you're giving to the proper charity itself. You can look up the charity itself, either at the Better Business Bureau, or you can go to Google itself and look up the charity that way, instead of clicking on a specific link or answering a phone call that's coming from a telemarketer. So, because you want to find as much information, Andrea, about it before you donate. Because once you give the money, it's too late and the money's gone.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Steve. Just at bbb.org, or you can just check with the state charity officials. And you can do the online research, too. You can research their tax status just by checking, the IRS, their tax-exempt status, on the organizational search tool to see if they're a legit charity.
Exactly. I also want to check with the Attorney General's office, make sure they're registered with the Attorney General in that specific state they're operating in. And the Better Business Bureau also does in-depth evaluations of charities, and our website is give.org. And we hold charities to 20 BBB standards for charitable accountability. It's all free information online. There's other places to get information on charities, but consumers, you just don't answer a phone call and give them your credit card number unless you know it's a charity that you've done business with in the past and that you want to donate to. Other than that, you want to make sure it's the proper charity that you're supposed to donate to. It's not just a sound-alike one or something with one different character in the URL. And one thing, especially during the holidays, you're going to be wary of any emotional appeals. Really the marketers have known to exploit the holidays, to make certain emotional pleas to the donors instead of making an impulse decision, based on emotion. Do the research, like I mentioned before, to make sure that the charity operates ethically and that you have some information about them and, where the money is actually going and are they holding the board accountable and a lot of things that consumers don't know what to ask, but the Better Business Bureau can give you a lot of information on what to ask a charity at give.org, or our main website is bbb.org.
Steve, thank you so much for all the tireless work that you do. You always take time out of your day to chat with us and make sure all the listeners are well informed. And again, give the website address out because it's a wealth of knowledge.
Sure. Before you buy or hire, BBB it. So it's bbb.org or give.org is our charity. And thank you so much for having me today. I always appreciate it, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Steve. Enjoy the rest of the weekend with your family. Love having you on.
Thank you so much.
That's Steve Bernas, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau. Again, it's bbb.org. Super easy. You can find businesses, accredited businesses. You can start a review. You can file a complaint. And you can see if these charities for Giving Tuesday are, in fact, legit. And again, thanks to Steve for having us. All right, after the news, we are going to talk to Sandi Price. It is Small Business Saturday. Why you should be shopping at all of your local businesses. Shop local. We need to get everybody back on the right track. It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin today on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Eucora. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. TNC and privacy policy found at eucora.com/TNC.
UTIs are the worst. One year, I had 8 UTIs. If you get UTIs, you understand how awful the cycle is. I was taking all the precautions, and cranberry products just didn't work. It was hard on me and my husband.
I hated seeing her in pain, and I wanted to help.
We're Jenna and Spencer, founders of Eucora.
With my background in biochemistry and our shared frustration over UTIs, we were inspired to start Eucora.
We make UTI relief products and innovative urinary tract supplements that give you a way to be proactive. At Eucora, we've helped over 200,000 people get their lives back. We have a money-back guarantee, so you can try risk-free. If you're not happy, you'll get a full refund. You have nothing to lose. Try Eucora today. Get 30% off Eucora when you text HEALTH to 64,000. Text HEALTH to 64,000 to get 30% off. That's HEALTH to 64000.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you got to buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too, because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Tune into the Tom Hartman radio program, your home for news, opinion, and insight, right here on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
NBC News Radio, I'm Julie Ryan. The UK is stepping up COVID-19 testing after 2 cases of the Omicron coronavirus turned up in England. The British Health Secretary said today both cases are linked to travelers from South Africa. Prime Minister Boris Johnson called it a reminder to get vaccinated. Britain has already suspended flights from several countries in southern Africa, and similar U.S. travel restrictions are set to kick in Monday. Dr. Anthony Fauci says there's no need to panic over the new COVID variant. The White House chief medical advisor tells NBC's Today Show the U.S. is taking precautionary steps to allow time to learn more about the variant found in South Africa.
You don't want people to panic, but you want to know that we're doing everything we can to stay ahead of this.
Tomorrow is expected to be the busiest of the holiday week for air travel. Brad Siegel has more.
Airports are gearing up for another busy day. The TSA says travelers set a pandemic record Wednesday with 2.3 million people flying for Thanksgiving. That's more than double of last year and 88% of the number screened back in 2019. It was also the 7th straight day the TSA topped 2 million passengers. Travelers are not expected to face weather delays on Sunday, as forecasters say much of the country is expected to be quiet.
Another smash and grab robbery is being reported, this time out of Minnesota. Authorities in Burnsville, a city just south of downtown Minneapolis, say a group of 20 to 30 people swarmed a Best Buy Black Friday evening. The suspects quickly ran off with numerous electronic items before police could arrive. Smash and grab robberies are on the rise across this country this holiday season, with California experiencing a recent rash of crime targeting high-end stores. The 89th annual Hollywood Christmas Parade rolls through Tinseltown tomorrow night. This year's Grand Marshal is the talk co-host Cheryl Underwood. Other celebrities expected to ride in the parade include Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis and Santa Claus. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
You're listening to The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin today on Chicago's Progressive Talk. Happy holiday weekend to you. Thank you so much for spending some of your Saturday with us here on Chicago's Progressive Talk. It is Small Business Saturday. We just finished with Black Friday, Cyber Monday's coming up, Giving Tuesday, Small Business Saturday, one of my very most favorite times of the year. Who better than to join us on the line now is Sandi Price. She's the Executive Director of the Rogers Park Business Alliance. Hi, Sandi. How are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Thank you. How are you today?
And you have one of my favorite, I'm doing great. You have one of my favorite mantras, live, love, shop Rogers Park. It is all about Small Business Saturday. And again, this is one of my favorite times of the year because we support our local businesses.
It really is. It's a great time to remind everybody, that we have so many small independent businesses, and you should support them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In Rogers Park, you do something really wonderful. It just started today. It starts today through December 31st, and it's what I said: live, love, shop Rogers Park. It's a holiday rebate program. So, what is this?
Yes. So, we kept thinking of ways to encourage people to shop locally. Don't go online and order from Amazon. Don't go to the big box stores. Shop at these small independent businesses. So, if you do that during this time of year, we give you money back for doing it. So, it's a program where there are certain rules that you have to follow. You can't just buy groceries and booze. You know what I mean? You have to actually go out and, we hope that you spend, a lot of people are buying gifts. We hope that you spend your money locally at independently owned businesses for your gift giving. So, of course, groceries and liquor and that kind of stuff is included. Tobacco and prescriptions are not. But you spend $150 or more in local, independently owned small businesses in Rogers Park, and we'll send you a check for $50. If you spend $200, we'll send you a check for $75. So it's a great way to just remind people that these businesses need their attention at this time of year and all year round, right? But it's a way to incentivize people, and the hope is that they'll visit places that maybe they haven't been before that are in their neighborhood, and they'll continue to patronize them even after the holidays.
There's something so special about just taking a walk through your neighborhood, and if you're walking through Rogers Park, I mean, there's no shortage of wonderful independently owned and family-owned businesses too. And you're right, there is just something about it, Sandi, that you're supporting the local businesses, you're supporting the community, you're putting money back into your neighborhoods and your communities.
Exactly. The more money that is spent within the communities, the more money, that stays in the community. I know there's a formula that tells you exactly what that percentage is, but, the money just stays in Rogers Park, and it goes towards, the small businesses. And a lot of our small businesses buy from other local businesses, and it just keeps the money in the community, which is really important.
You're also adding a very artistic and creative facet to Small Business Saturday, and starting today and leading up through the end of the year too. Just these artistic. There's a walk chalk. I know we've had Nate on before. He's a Chicago artist, a 3D artist. Tell us a little bit about some of the artistic parts of this too, and let's start off with the walk chalk of Howard Street.
So 2 years ago, we had our very first ever Chalk Howard Street, where we had a bunch of 3D artists do 3D art on the street. We closed the street down, and it was really very, very cool to see this kind of artwork. First time it ever happened in Chicago. And then, of course, we thought we would continue it, and then we couldn't. So what we did instead was we did a little bit of a pivot where instead of doing the art on the street, Nate Bernas, who's the Chicago native, and he goes to different businesses, and he does a piece of 3D chalk art for that particular business. So for Athena Board Game Cafe, he did a really cool game. And what we've done with all these pieces of art is we put them all in the windows down Howard Street, and there's a marking on the street, because with the 3D art, you're supposed to stand at a certain place and then look through your camera to get the the total 3D effect of the piece of artwork. So you can walk up and down Howard Street and take pictures with these really cool 3D art pieces that are in the windows of a bunch of art businesses on Howard Street.
It's so wonderful, and please take advantage. I mean, the shopping is going on all day today, tomorrow as well. And every business, I mean, the list is about a page and a half long, Sandy. Every business is offering something, whether it's 10% off or I know Picnic Wine is doing 2 glasses of beer for $7, and there's the fabulous Doll Boutique. There's just so much to offer, and so many businesses, and everyone is offering something special, whether it's a discount or free cider and cookies at Flats.
Right, and I just want to add that we do know that a lot of businesses have closed, during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic. We had several close in Rogers Park also, but during the pandemic, we had over 40 new businesses open.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So that says something for the Rogers Park community. And yes, Fabulous Doll Boutique is one of them. Burgoo, there are just so many of these small businesses that opened during COVID. And we did a ribbon cutting a couple weeks ago where we used to do ribbon cuttings every time a business opened, and we couldn't do that during COVID. So we reached out to all the businesses that opened and said, "Hey, are you available on this date and time?" And we actually visited 15 businesses in 2 hours with our alderwoman and our state senator, and just to show them a little love and take some, do some ribbon cuttings, and it was a lot of fun.
Sandy, did you find when you reached out to all these businesses, was it just kind of I think I'm just noticing, especially with local businesses too in Chicago, everyone's so happy to kind of be back. I know we're wearing masks and we're still taking our precautions and we're getting our vaccines and our boosters, but did you just find such a renewed sense of excitement this holiday season with people reemerging and wanting to be a part of this?
Yes, definitely. This weekend we have Shop Jarvis Square, which is at Jarvis and Greenview. And normally what they do for Shop Jarvis Square is the business, there are artists that are in all of the different businesses, so each business may have 4 or 5 artists that set up tables inside. And this year they're doing it inside and outside because they had so many artists that were interested in participating in this event. So yes, we definitely see these businesses want to get out there, and the people want to participate also. The people are coming out to support them, which is wonderful to see.
Small Business Saturday has always been such a wonderful tradition, and it seems like really our neighborhoods, and specifically Rogers Park too, but the other neighborhoods really just embrace this, and it's a chance to give back to your own community and your own residents.
Yes, and the businesses love it too. The businesses want to be a part of it, which is great.
Tell me again, you said you had 40 businesses closed, but how many reopen?
No, 40 new businesses.
40 new businesses reopened. That's incredible.
Right. Yeah, we had 40 new businesses in the last 18 months that have opened.
You have to be so proud of that. How, now all these discounts and specials, is that just this weekend, or are they going to each be offering something throughout the rest of the year and the shopping season?
It's a bit of a mix.
Okay.
Some that are doing stuff, especially for today, for Small Business Saturday, that'll only be for today. And then some businesses that'll keep offering specials. Like Honey Bear Cafe has been coming up with a different excuse every day to offer discounts. They did a Native Heritage Day, and they're always coming up with reasons to offer discounts and to get more people in the door, which is great.
And a gem, which is right in the center of your community, is the Old Town School of Folk Music. And I know you had some live musicians out there today. Keep the hot chocolate coming. I know it's 40 degrees out, but I'm glad that they were out there too, because that really is a gem when you can take advantage of listening to some of their music.
Yeah, they're over in Lincoln Square, but they sent people over to our Small Business Saturday welcome station, and they were just wonderful. We had a musician, we had crepes, we had hot chocolate and coffee, and we gave away bags. We give away about 100 bags of goodies during Small Business Saturday that have all kinds of coupons and tchotchkes from the local businesses, just to get everybody started on their shopping season.
I think this is absolutely wonderful. And tell everyone again, for those maybe who are just joining, about the rebate program. We started off our discussion, Sandy, talking about the rebate program and how residents, just by shopping local and by shopping at Rogers Park businesses, can get money back from doing that.
Right. So you can find we do rebate forms, and you can find all the rules and the rebate forms on our website, which is rpba.org. But it's Live, Love, Shop Rogers Park. And in order to encourage people to shop at independently owned businesses, starting today through December 31st, you collect receipts according to the rules. $150 or more in receipts will get you a $50 rebate. And receipts totaling $200 or more will get you a $75 rebate. The rebate forms have to be to us in January, and then the rebate checks go out the end of February, because it does take a while for us to process all of these rebate checks. But it's just a great incentive for people to shop small this holiday season.
Boy, it sure is. And that goes through the end of the year, through December 31st.
To December, you can shop, right? You have to have receipts. You have to upload your receipts or mail us your original receipts that have to be dated from today through December 31st.
Well, Sandy, thank you for all that you do and all the businesses in Rogers Park. Happy Small Business Saturday, and thanks for taking time out of your day to be with us.
Thanks, Andrea. I hope that you have a wonderful holiday.
Same to you, Sandy.
I hope to talk to you again soon.
That sounds good. We'll talk to you before the end of the holidays. We appreciate everything that you do. It's Sandy Price. She is the executive director of the Rogers Park Business Alliance. How about that? Boy, all you have to do is shop local, and you're going to end up getting money back. And, oh, by the way, every business you go into has some sort of a deal or a discount or money off, or you get something back. So it's win-win-win all the way around. After this, we're going to tell you about some of the wonderful performances that are going on for the holidays around the Chicago area. We're going to talk about becoming Santa Claus with the conductor of this gorgeous, gorgeous performance right after this. It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin today. It is The Big Picture on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
The David Pakman Show.
Anecdotally, people have written to me and they've said, listen, David, my employer claims to be hiring. The companies are listing jobs in order to placate the workers they have. We're hiring. But really, it's to keep the existing employees doing the jobs of 1.5 or 2 people calm as they continue to do way more work than they normally would.
The David Pakman Show, weekday evenings at 10 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Hi, this is Jason Bissell from Chicago Community Acupuncture at Milwaukee, Devon, and Nagel in Chicago. The first thing the National Institutes of Health concluded acupuncture could actually treat was chemotherapy-induced nausea. This is back in 1997. Since then, research has shown that it can reduce or eliminate all of the side effects of chemo and radiation: fatigue, neuropathy, pain, dry mouth, and most importantly, impairment to the immune system. It should absolutely be a part of everyone's cancer care regimen. All the top hospitals use it, including Memorial Sloan Kettering, where I was the first acupuncturist to serve as a postdoctoral fellow. If you're battling cancer, we can help. People who get acupuncture along with standard care have fewer side effects, greater quality of life, greater survival times, and greater survival rates. And at Chicago Community Acupuncture, we charge about half of what others charge. Call us at 773-853-0920, 773-853-0920, or go to chicomacu.com, CHICOMACU.com.
We've all been spending more time indoors than usual, but FinishingChicago.com has an offer to update your interior. Whether your space is residential or commercial, for a limited time you can save up to 25% on painting and decorating. FinishingChicago.com has the most dynamic interior spaces available from industry-leading union craftspeople. That's union quality, efficiency, and industry-leading expertise in your home or commercial space. Visit FinishingChicago.com to find a contractor in your area. This unprecedented access to union quality labor at a reduced rate is only available for a limited time. Revitalize your spaces with fine decorative upgrades applied by the most knowledgeable craftspeople in the industry. Whether it's a new color or transforming your walls into something truly special, our contractors have all the options. Take advantage of FinishingChicago.com's Update Your Interior savings before they're gone. For up to 25% off your new finish, start with FinishingChicago.com.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Saturday, and you're constantly complaining about paying PMI on your FHA loan, but you've done nothing about it. If you took out a 30-year fixed loan after June of 2013 and your loan-to-value was greater than 90%, you will have PMI for the entire length of your loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners refinance out of their FHA loan to eliminate their PMI, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Also, financial legal housing lender, MLS 1124061.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
Happy holiday weekend to you. Happy Small Business Saturday. Andrea Darlas in for Edwin today. He'll be back with you next Saturday. I thought we would take this opportunity as we're talking about some of the wonderful holiday performances throughout the city. I saw 'Twas the Night, the Cirque du Soleil at the Chicago Theater last night. It was absolutely magnificent. I got a chance to check out Frozen over at the Cadillac from Broadway in Chicago. Absolutely wonderful. And another performance I highly recommend, Becoming Santa Claus at the Studebaker Theater, 410 South Michigan Avenue. We are so excited to have the conductor of Becoming Santa Claus at the Chicago Opera Theater, Lydia Yankovskaya. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you're with us. Tell us a little bit about Becoming Santa Claus.
Well, it's a great story about how Claus became whom we know him to be today. And it's about a 13-year-old elf prince named Claus. It's his birthday, and his three favorite uncles have blown off the party because they have to go to the birth of some special child. They're bringing that child gifts like frankincense, which Claus thinks are very, very lame, and decides to outdo them with his own inventions. He works the elves to death, comes up with a lot of toys, and in the process, he learns a lot about gift giving.
I love the disclaimers on the website at chicagooperatheater.org. You will love this if you love a good Pixar movie, and who doesn't? You've ever been a cranky 13-year-old who hasn't, or maybe are the parent of one, and the Nutcracker is one of your favorite holiday traditions. So it's check, 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 Lydia.
It is a great story. It's fantastic music. Our cast is a lot of fun. The orchestral writing is really superb for all of those classical music lovers out there as well. It's really fun for the entire family and anyone who has been to an opera before or has never been to one and wants to discover one for the first time.
Yeah, and you know what? It's family friendly too. You know, you could bring your kids, or if you want to do a date night, that's fine too. This is for everyone.
It's only 90 minutes long, and it's fast-paced and really fun and great for the holidays for the entire family, from the smallest kids to the oldest adults.
I have to tell you, Lydia, those are my favorite performances, the ones that are 90 minutes with no interruption and no intermission, just because you're going straight through, you have the momentum, you know, it's just start to finish, it's all compact, and it's like one-stop shopping.
It is great, and it is this show in particular. It's so exciting and fast-paced, and it really brings the excitement through the entire time, and especially during pandemic times, it's great to get in there, get that 90 minutes, but feel like you've really spent time with the entire family. It keeps the kids entertained the entire time, so I can't recommend it highly enough.
Lydia, what was it like to be back and conducting, you know, this group of people after the pandemic? You know, it's all like we were kind of in this dormant stage, and now, boom, we're back with masks, of course, and I know you're doing all the proper precautions at Chicago Opera Theater, but what was it like to be back and conducting?
Well, it's so exciting to be back in the room with big orchestras and the singers fully staged. We did some performances during the pandemic, but everybody was distanced or we had to film. And there's, more importantly, nothing like performing for a live audience again, because the audience is a real part of the performance. And we who are trained to perform live, we don't get the same experience just as the audience doesn't when it goes through a screen. There's something really amazing about seeing people on the stage in front of you, just for us to see the audiences and react to them in the moment. So it's very exciting to bring art and performance back to the communal experience that it has to be in order to make the maximum impact on everybody involved.
I'm so excited to be talking to you, too, because as music director, you are one of only 2 women to ever hold that title at the opera company here in the country.
Yeah, at any major opera company, sadly.
That's it is sad, but it's amazing and wonderful for you, though, too.
It's great, and I'm so lucky to be at Chicago Opera Theater, which in general is such a forward-looking company that puts on operas that are relevant for today and that are of today and that speak to all of us.
And another congratulations to you as well. I know you were named by the Chicago Tribune as one of the 2020 Chicagoans of the Year, the Chicagoan of the Year. And you were really called the model of how to survive adversity and also how to thrive in it.
Well, I've been, again, so lucky to be here in Chicago and part of this city and this amazing cultural and network and cultural framework of the city. COT is, again, such an exciting, forward-looking company. And for the Chicagoan of the Year, I have to say the most exciting thing about that was being a Chicagoan of the Year alongside Wellington the Penguin at the aquarium. So
that's right.
That was
right.
The greatest part of the honor.
Right. Hopefully your picture was above his. Can we talk, and I thank you so much for your time. I know you're being so generous with your time today because of your performance schedule, but can you talk a little bit about the program that you founded? And I think it's so important, especially at this time in our history of our country and our world. You founded the Refugee Orchestra Project. What is that?
Yeah, so I run an organization called the Refugee Orchestra Project. It's a big group of musicians who are themselves refugees from around the world, from different time periods around the world. And we perform music primarily by refugee composers, whether living ones or ones from throughout history. So many people don't realize that even music like, let's say, for example, God Bless America by Irving Berlin was written by a refugee, and it's become like a second national anthem in our country. So much popular music and classical music was written by refugees or is highly influenced by the work of refugees. And our organization tries to bring awareness to the incredible cultural contribution that refugee artists and refugees in general have made and continue to make to our culture and society.
You're a mentor to so many musicians, and your foundation is absolutely wonderful and everything that you've done. Who are some of your inspirations?
Oh, there are so many, but I would say one of my inspirations is a wonderful conductor named Maren Alsop, who for the longest time was the only woman to hold the post at any major American symphony orchestra, but has also been a huge mentor to me. And Maren is someone who mentors many, many artists and many conductors who come through the field, and has her own organization called the Taki Concordia Fellowship that specifically supports female conductors.
Well, I can't thank you enough for all you've done and all your contributions. We're so lucky to have you in Chicago directing this wonderful performance and conducting Becoming Santa Claus. Tell everyone why they should go see this production.
I think everyone should go see the show because it is fun, it is exciting, it is great for the entire family, whether you're young or old. It is great both for people who are new music or opera connoisseurs and those who have never, ever been to a classical music performance. It truly is a show for everybody, and it is a holiday show that crosses also all traditions and all religions and all cultures. And it's not, although it's called Becoming Santa Claus, it really applies to all of us because it's about gift giving, the spirit of the holiday, and what it means to be a family.
Well, you are wonderful. Congratulations on all your accolades and all of your success. And, of course, 2020, one of the 2020 Chicagoans of the Year. Again, hopefully your picture is above the Penguins, but, we appreciate...
The Penguin deserves all this.
Lydia, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it and hope to see everyone at the show.
That sounds great. We absolutely will be there. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. That is Lydia Yankovskaya. She is the conductor of Becoming Santa Claus at the Chicago Opera Theater at the Studebaker Theater. It's 410 South Michigan. There's only 3 performances, and tickets are selling out very quickly. Saturday, December 11th at 7:30, Friday, December 17th at 7:30, and Sunday, December 19th at 3 p.m. You can see her directing this wonderful, wonderful musical. You can get your ticket at chicagooperatheater.org. We're going to take a quick break here and talk a little bit more about some of the things you can do in Chicago this holiday season. And we're going to continue our celebration of Small Business Saturday with the founder of Transit Tees coming in studio to talk about some of your holiday shopping and some great gift ideas for everybody on your list. It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin today on The Big Picture on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
When the news hits close to home.
Protests.
Struggle with coronavirus.
Local businesses don't have the money to survive.
Joan Esposito is live, local, and progressive.
The Republicans are a party right now that are trying to kick off committees to punish Republicans who voted for infrastructure.
Joan Esposito, weekday afternoons at 2.
They voted for infrastructure and their party wants to punish them.
On WCPT 820.
It's a weird world we live in. It's a weird world indeed.
This is John Daniel, President and Business Manager of the Sheet Metal Workers of Smart Local 265. The principles that guide me are rooted in the simple belief that united we stand and divided we fall. We the people must recognize that a diverse environment with unique points of view is the foundation for success. A culture where labor and management work together inspires innovation, promotes inclusion, creates a sustainable growth for business, the workforce, and our communities. When the entrepreneur's vision is developed and improved with the voice of a unionized workforce, you build more than just a product, you build a stronger future. I want to personally thank everyone who voted for President Biden. He believes in unions. Blue Collar Biden signed the American Rescue Act of 2021, which secures vested pension benefits. It funds improvements of indoor air quality in K-12 schools and provides additional Paycheck Protection Program loans to support small businesses. This is John Daniel from Smart Local 265. Join me in celebrating a return to sanity and a sustainable middle class. Stay union strong.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you got to buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too. Because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org. This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're looking at The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
Oh,
really well.
That
Last
is
year,
awesome.
really developed it more.
We're continuing our off-air conversation on the air. It's Andrea Darlas in for Edwin today on The Big Picture. He'll be back with you next week, but I'm so excited that I'm here on Small Business Saturday, and we have the owner and founder of Transit Tees, Tim Gillengerten, and Kelsey McClung. She's the online manager. Transit Tees, and I'm not kidding you, and you know this because I've known you for a while, Tim, one of my favorite stores in Chicago because I love Chicago merchandise. And if you look for, if people are always like, where'd you get that hat? Because I wear the hat with the Chicago flag on it. You have the beanies, and then my most recent purchase was the black tank top with it spells out Chicago in the different colors of the L. And I get so many cool compliments on that. But Transit Tees, hands down one of my favorite stores to shop local at. So lean on into there.
Sure.
Kelsey, pull that little blue mic up to you. Lean on in right there.
Cool.
And we are going to talk about, first of all, Small Business Saturday. It's probably huge for you guys, too.
Yeah,
as
it's
far as
definitely
buying
the
local.
biggest day in November, and it's that kickoff to the holiday season. People are buying products a lot earlier because they have the message to get it now.
Oh, yeah.
Supply chain issues.
Oh, for sure.
We planned for this in about August.
Oh, do you? That far in advance?
And we want to make sure that we had everything available as possible.
Oh, I bet. Do you ever run out? I mean, because you are the premier store for Chicago merchandise.
Yes.
Really?
We do run out of a few things. And we try to have some backup items. But this year, we're really happy with how it's going. And today is Small Business Saturday, so it's an exciting day for us. For sure.
I got to say, truly, the Chicago flag is one of the most iconic symbols. I mean, if you ever are in need of a gift to give someone, give them something with the Chicago flag on it, and that translates. I mean, you can be in Florida, you can be in a different part of, different country, and someone will be like, "Wait, is that the Chicago flag?" There's just something iconic about it.
Yeah, it's a great subject to design around.
Oh, yeah.
We'll take that flag, we'll take elements out of it, distress it, and reincorporate it into different producs.
Yeah, hence our flag, the WCPT flag, and in place of the stars. But I just, do you get a sense of pride when it comes to people who shop at your store and shop at Transit Tees and are looking for Chicago merchandise? That we do kind of have that pride in Chicago.
Definitely, and Chicago's a big city. We have 7 million people here. It's a great audience to work with, and I like catering to people that live here and know what it is. Like with the Loop, we have the big, bold stripes of color around a mug.
Yeah.
Or that shirt, when you see it, you connect.
Yeah.
So you know what it is, and sort of that insider connection that everyone has.
Yeah, and again, it's great gifts for. I have a lot of friends who have just retired and are going to different parts of the country, yet they still want that little piece of Chicago with them, whether it's a hat or a shirt or a tank top or a mug. A
lot of people that will leave town will want to grab a bunch of merch to remember the city by, or when they come back, or to lure their friends to the city. They'll buy things to ship them to let them know what a great city this is to live in.
Did your online sales pick up too a lot because of the pandemic? So hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. When the pandemic started, everybody shifted to online, and we released a couple puzzles at the same time.
Oh, that's great.
So it was the perfect item for people that were staying at home. Our puzzle sales went through the roof.
Oh, that's so awesome. Let's talk a little bit about and you're the perfect store too for someone who has everything, or you don't know what to get someone. I have someone in my life and I'm like, what am I going to get her? It's easy to find for certain people, but others it's like you always want to find something unique. So you brought in some really cool options here. I hope everybody is listening to this. And people can get these online or at your store.
Yeah, so it's available at transittees.com. We have a flagship store in Wicker Park, and then we also have a store in Andersonville.
Yeah.
So Kelsey had thought of an idea for gift sets last year.
Yeah, last year people weren't able to get together, so they were looking for items that they could ship directly to their loved ones and ready-made gifts.
Yeah.
So we tested out a few gift sets last year that come gift wrapped, and they come with a free card, and they're also free shipping. So people will send those directly to their loved ones that they couldn't see in person, and it did really well last year, so we expanded on it this year.
Very cool. Let's talk a little bit. Can we go through some of these really neat items? Okay, so we're
this is our
we're also on
Prohibition
Facebook
set.
Live too, by the way.
So the Prohibition set is it's more of the adult version of our gift sets.
Okay.
And it comes with a great puzzle, which is the Gangland puzzle. So it's this 1930s styled illustration of Capone's era.
Oh,
so
this
it's
is
a
cool.
1,000-piece puzzle.
Okay.
So hours of fun for the family, and really interesting trivia on that. So it was a beautiful puzzle.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Isn't that fun? Yep.
It
has
is.
the outline of Chicago, the neighborhoods, and all the skirmishes and massacres that happened during that era.
Oh, sure.
They are
yeah.
illustrated on there.
I love our history.
It is.
Don't you?
It's fun. There's a legacy dice game in there. It comes in a tin. It's 6 die.
Okay.
And
here it is.
we took that flag with the 2 stripes.
Okay.
As well as the 4 stars and what they represent.
Okay.
and we turned it into a dice game where you roll for the flag.
Oh, this is awesome.
It's really fun. You can do combinations of the individual stars to gain points.
Okay.
If you do roll the flag, you get 1,000 points, but you do have to roll again and have a scoring roll. So it's based on a traditional dice game.
This is awesome. It's kind of like, we played left, right, center, just, because we had the kids on Thursday, so we had to do like little family-friendly games on Thanksgiving Day. But this would be perfect for that.
Definitely, it reminds me of being at a cottage and just playing dice at night with my family. It's a fun, addictive game too. Like everyone wants to roll, and you just keep playing and playing. So it was a great product to develop.
This is awesome. And each part of the dice, for those listening, and again, we're on Facebook Live, but for there's the Ferris wheel. And each represents one of the Chicago stars, right?
Yep,
so
perfect.
So Fort Dearborn, World's Columbian Exposition, Great Chicago Fire, and the World's Fair?
It is a fair, yeah. It was Century of Progress.
Century of Progress. Yeah. Okay, I have the posters up in my house.
Good.
So, and then if you roll, and then there's two lines which show the river, right? The North Branch and then the South Branch of the river. Is it the South Branch?
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm guessing here. I'm not looking at anything online for those who are listening.
You nailed it.
And then so this is cool. So this is called the Chicago Flag Legacy Dice Game. Ooh, I'd recommend this for everybody. This is super awesome.
It's a great universal gift for sure.
This is a great gift.
Also, we've included some whiskey glasses with coasters, which have the etched Chicago flag. So it's a nice, classy whiskey glass.
Ah, perfect.
We have our best seller this year, which is our Chicago Handshake card game.
Oh, fun.
And I brought
How do you
deck
play
for you
that?
here.
Okay.
So this is a single draw game.
Okay.
And it is inspired by Old Style and Malort.
Oh,
yeah.
Of course
the
it is.
Chicago Handshake drink.
Ooh, of course it is, Malort.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So do you just randomly pick a card?
Yeah, you pick a
Paul,
card.
pick a card here. I'm going to have Paul randomly pick a card.
So they have trivia, nostalgia.
Okay, what is your card?
Climb the Bean.
Ooh.
I have done the insurmountable discard all token cards that I have.
Okay, nice. All right, I have Drag It Through the Garden, and it's a picture of the Chicago hot dog. You know, because it's got relish and celery salt and onions and everything like that. And it says, choose another player to name all 9 ingredients that comprise a Chicago-style hot dog. That's awesome.
Isn't that fun?
That is cool.
How are you good at that, do you think?
Can I name them all?
Sure.
All right.
Now, there's a hint on the illustration.
All right. Okay, so you just have to look at the picture, right? Yeah. So these are 9 ingredients that comprise a Chicago-style hot dog. Okay, mustard, onion, relish, tomato, celery salt, poppy seed bun. Does the dog itself count? Okay. So I have 2 more. What am I missing, Paul?
2 more.
Hot pepper?
Sport peppers.
Sport peppers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot.
And
what
something
am I
that's
missing?
neon in color.
You said the relish.
Yes, the relish.
But you did say
okay.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I said it because it's 9.
I'll have to go back and check the tape
Is the trick
later.
question is it the poppy seed bun?
You got, yeah.
Because people might not guess
the. I think you got it, yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'll give it to you.
That is so cool.
So how the game works is if there's a bartender who helps regulate it, and if the bartender decides you haven't created the correct answers, then he will tax you with a drink, or it'll be on the card also for this one.
Oh, this
so
is
you don't
great.
have to take your shot of Malort today. And
thank God. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I can handle a shot of Malort anymore.
And there's tokens. So this card does have a token. So you collect tokens for missed trivia, and then once you reach 7, the game ends, and you take the shot with a back of an old style beer.
This is awesome.
Really fun. Hopefully it'll be a Chicago classic game.
You know what? My problem, I shouldn't say problem, but every time I go in Transities, and this is true because, I tell you everything that I own, I always tend to buy for myself too. I'm like, oh, I need a Chicago gift for someone who's leaving town, but then I end up buying for myself.
Very cool.
So,
thank you.
It's okay.
Yeah,
hey, trust me, shopping's my vice.
When we design products in the store, most of our staff has grown up in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we always make sure it's something that we would want, that
Right.
we would wear. So it's very Chicago-centric. And we just really love creating things. It's a lot of fun.
I think that's what, and you always make it unique. You know, you take things that we're proud of in Chicago and just make it so unique that, you know, you can't not want these products.
Nice.
So, great job.
Thanks.
You guys have done good. All right, what else do we have in here?
Yes, any other
We
goodies?
have,
We do have some really fun stickers. I know
cool.
stickers have been trending over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And so we have a Chicago Handshake sticker, as well as a Drink Local, because there's all these great breweries in Chicago also.
Yeah, oh, and this is the whiskey. Is this a whiskey glass or rocks glass?
Yep. Whiskey rocks. Yep.
With the etched Chicago flag on it.
Yeah.
Are these are not dishwasher safe, right? I mean, I wouldn't put them in.
It is actually.
Oh,
yeah.
it is.
Yep. Dishwasher safe.
I'd still hand wash it all.
Oh, do you?
I'd still hand
Just be
wash it all.
safe. Yeah.
How long has Transit Teas been around now?
So we started in 2001, and we opened the store in Wicker Park about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And it was probably the best thing that happened to us having the store. We had been at festivals, Wicker Park Fest, Midsummer Fest, and had tested our product. The store really gave us more visibility.
Mm-hmm.
So it allowed us to be visible for clients that we do custom work for.
Yeah.
So we do collaborative works for Museum of Contemporary Art, the Art Institute. We have amazing clients.
That's awesome.
We did reach out to CH Distillery. They are the maker of Malort.
Okay.
We said, hey, we're making this game. We'd love to partner with you. And they said, great. So they came
great.
on board. We had a really fun event party at their distillery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing how many Chicago companies started here and have products here, and it's really fun to partner with them.
It is cool. Years ago when I was doing the weekend break on Channel 9, we would come up with, you know, different things, and I thought it was going to be hard for a while. There's no shortage of businesses, and it's like, I'm born and raised here. You know, I grew up on the south side, but I'm a north sider now, so I've kind of lived from like one end of the city to the other, because I'm way north now. But I just always find it cool that you always are constantly learning, like Affy Tapple or Ferrara Pan, whatever or Malort. I didn't even know, you know, Malort's ours, you know, as we say proudly. more often than not, right? Hang out with us. We're going to take a quick break here. We're talking to Tim Gillengerten and Kelsey McClung from Transit Teas, and it's Small Business Saturday. Shop local, shop Transit Teas. I mean, if you're looking for the perfect Chicago gift, they have something for everyone. It's Andrea in for Edwin. On The Big Picture, we'll be back after this on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
Tolerance is accepting someone before they walk through the door.
It's about accepting people for who they are as individuals.
Tolerance is celebrating the diversity that makes us great.
Tolerance. Honor the differences.
Picture a world of respect. Visit tolerance.org to learn more.
Tom Hartman.
So what is it if it's not poverty that causes crime? What is it? Well, it turns out it's inequality. And inequality causes crime because it literally makes us crazy. We are wired for fairness. If you don't believe this, walk into a preschool class with a couple of dozen 3-year-olds, a big pile of cookies, and give just one cookie to all the other kids and watch what happens.
The Tom Hartman Radio Program. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Morning, Mama. How you feeling?
Great, and I'm ready for you today.
I'm checking in on you. Morning meditation?
Check.
Dressed and ready to work out?
Check.
Check your blood pressure yet?
And check.
Boom! Great job, Mom. And about those gold earrings?
No, ma'am.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Monitor your blood pressure daily and help each other stay motivated. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter. You're listening to The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath on WCPT 820.
Andrea Darlas in for Edwin Eisendrath today on The Big Picture. Edwin will be back with you next Saturday. We are taking all advantage of this time to tell you about some great gift ideas. It's Small Business Saturday. You should be shopping local, shopping at businesses in your community. They need it now more than ever. And one of my favorite stores in the entire world is Transit Teas. You're in Wicker Park. You're in Andersonville. We have the founder, Tim Gillengerten, and Kelsey McClung, who is the online manager of Transit Tees with us in studio. Thank you for coming in today.
Thanks.
I know you've taken a little bit of your holiday weekend to share some gift ideas with us, but let's talk. We talked a little bit about the puzzle, about the Chicago handshake game, coasters, whiskey glasses. Let's talk about some other gifts that you are offering at Transit Tees.
So in addition to this game set, we also have our Chicago Family Game Night gift set.
Okay.
So that version has our L board game in it.
Okay.
It has our Loop deck in it.
I have that. That's a fun game too.
Yeah. It has the Legacy game that we went over, and it has the Neon Neighborhood puzzle.
Very cool. And you have housewares gift sets too.
Yeah, we have
some of the
dish
glasses.
towels. We've been expanding our dish towels, mugs. I like how we could take artwork and city elements and put them into functional art.
Yeah.
So you create a little piece of art in your kitchen.
That is so cool. And how do you come up with all these great ideas?
We sit around and talk about things that happen to us on the way to work, joke around about some concepts that turn into actual products, and we just try to express our experiences in the city into products. So we have a lot of fun. I know first quarter is really our time period. We're a little slower in the store. So we'll gather everyone up. We expand this process too to people that work in the front area of our retail, the whole company. We have 21 staff now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we just put feelers out to everybody. Hey, anything you thought of or want to see in a product, and engage everybody in that creative process. And it's amazing what everyone comes up with as a group.
Tim, you have 21 staffers now?
Yeah.
Did you ever
growing.
think that you would,
Not really. I think three seemed like a lot.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's so cool. Tell me about the Prohibition Game Night gift set. This sounds really cool.
Yes.
So that one has our newest game in it, which is the Chicago Handshake drinking game.
Okay.
It has our Gangland map puzzle, the Legacy dice game.
Okay.
2 whiskey glasses, 2 shot glasses, 2 coasters, and 2 stickers.
Very cool. And this is $115. And is this are these all, can they be delivered too?
Yeah,
or
so
shipped?
All of these are available on the website. They've been pre-order up until now.
Okay.
So they're available today, and they'll be available in the store this coming week.
Okay, good.
Online, they are free shipping. They come gift wrapped, and they include a free card that we will handwrite your gift message in.
Okay, right there, free shipping. That is the mantra right there. So many companies now are starting to charge for shipping, even ones that had been notoriously free shipping. So that is, that saves you so much money right there, and it's gift wrapped. It's perfect. You also have really cool stocking stuffers too, which I think is kind of neat. People are always looking for the grab bag gift or the gift for under $20. Let's talk about some of those too, the under $20 gifts.
Yeah, today in the store there were 2 women looking for gifts for their father, and they came across our Giardinera sticker, and they thought it was so interesting and unusual, and they asked if we had any other Giardinera products, and I took them over to our enamel pins. We had little enamel pins with a little jar, and they thought that was cute. And then I realized we also had socks, which was a great dad Christmas gift. So
sure.
When they saw the pattern socks with all the elements of what's in that relish, they lost it. They thought it was just the most unusual, creative gift. They were so happy. So the socks are really good stocking stuffer. Yeah. So socks are classic. We have hats also, patch hats with a flag on it.
I love those.
We make those in-house, and we have knit pattern hats too.
And the they're not skull caps. So what are they, like the beanie hats?
Yeah, beanies. Yeah.
Those are great. A bunch of folks at Channel 9, we were sending emails around one day like, where'd you get that cool hat with the silver Chicago flag? Transit Tees.
Oh, nice.
So that's face masks too, right?
Yeah, face masks with really interesting patterns, distressed Chicago flags. There's one that has that transit type on it. That's the train line colors with silver trains.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I think it's our best-selling mask.
It is, yeah.
The one with the L trains on it.
Yeah.
Does it and it spells out Chicago, or is it? Oh, that's so perfect.
In all the colors.
$12. Seriously. I'm not telling you increase your prices, but these are
super
great
comfortable.
buys.
Yeah, easy to wear, adjustable ear on it. So
this is wonderful.
Adapted, and made some products and put the Chicago flair on them.
Yeah. Do you do ornaments? Is there ornaments too?
Yeah, we
Christmas
have a
ornaments?
laser cutter in house, so we're cutting ornaments all day now through the holiday. We do have Lori Lightfoot ornaments.
Really?
Classic pose of hers holding a folder.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right. The one that everybody put during COVID. Yeah, right. Like this is closed out.
Put different ones around the store, like she's everywhere.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you have the life-size cardboard cutouts too?
I saw those.
I did see those. Yeah, those are funny. But so you have those ornaments and magnet packs, large stickers. I mean, as low as $3, $8. I mean, these are perfect grab bag gifts too. Now that everyone's starting to, do their office parties again in their grab bags.
Try to make it with really accessible pricing.
Yeah.
Most people leave with something, from the store. So. I
have to congratulate you on your success because you've really taken such a wonderful idea. And again, I think Chicagoans have such pride, in our flag, in our city, in our neighborhoods, and you don't see that in any other major cities, do you?
I think the degree here is accelerated. I think it's a working city.
Yeah.
So I think everybody works hard here. Everyone appreciates what we have.
Mm-hmm.
The L system's pretty advanced compared to the rest of the cities in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So when we stop and think about it, we have some great amenities here with all the institutions also. So I think everybody ties into that and really connects with what the city has to offer.
Well, you guys do a fantastic job. You really do. Tell everybody the location of the brick and mortar stores and then online where they can buy all of this.
Sure. So we have our flagship store in Wicker Park. It's Transit Tees, located at 1371 North Milwaukee Avenue. And we're open 10 to 7 Monday through Friday. And Saturday and Sunday we're open 10 till 8 p.m. Same hours in Andersonville, 5226 North Clark Street, right near Foster there. And then our online?
Our website is transittees.com, and that's free shipping site-wide, not just on the gift sets.
All right, Kelsey, I'm totally going to put you on the spot here. You're the online manager. All the online orders come through you. You see, what's the biggest selling, one of the biggest selling items?
Right now, it's definitely the Chicago handshake drinking card game.
Okay.
We've
perfect stocking stuffer.
A ton of those in the last month. Our all-time bestseller is the L board game.
Okay. And what is your favorite? If you had to leave work and Tim said you can take one thing home with you. Say you didn't, I know you have probably all the products, but you didn't have anything. You can only leave with one thing. What would you take?
Probably the board game.
Would you?
Yeah, I started when that came out, and it's been my favorite since I started. I have a copy that I play all the time with friends.
All right, now I'm going to put you on the spot, too. I know this is like asking, who's your favorite parent, maybe which is your favorite child. So I'm not going to, so I'll say, how about one of the products that you're just most proud of and you thought, wow, you almost want to reach around and pat yourself on the back for what an awesome idea it was.
I like the Neon Neighborhood puzzle. We took 3 years drawing all the neighborhoods in the city, developing our own font for the puzzle. And there's a tradition in our family to break out a puzzle after the holidays and play during the night and talk about things that happened to us in our experiences. So.
All right, now I'm really going to put you on the spot since we only have 2 minutes here. I am going to ask you one of the questions from your card, okay? Okay, here we go. Let's see. How about, we can't do that. How many Bozo buckets are there?
Ooh, is it 5?
Kelsey?
I have no idea.
Paul? It's 6.
Oh,
6 Bozo buckets. I was going to ask you to name all the condiments on a hot dog, but we just did it. Okay, I got one. Here we go. Right. You'll get this one. Everyone must sing the jingle to Chicago's favorite carpet company. Tim, this is yours. What's the number?
Yeah, I was trying to sing this the other night with a bunch of friends over 65 years old, and we were really stumbling. But it's 1-800. 568
300.
No, thank you.
Isn't it? Empire.
That's like hardwired into
I
everyone's.
sat next to that guy at a charity event one time, and I just had it in my head.
Oh my God.
I couldn't even tell you the guy's name.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. I don't think he's with us anymore.
Well, he
but
was just the Empire Carpet guy.
The Empire Carpet guy.
yeah.
I don't even know his real name, but I knew 588-2300.
It's really fun for the whole table to sing that together.
I know, right?
Yeah.
After a couple of shots of Malort. Okay, and last one. This might be a gimme. This is an easy one. The name of the cow that allegedly started. The name of the woman who owned the cow who allegedly started the Great Chicago Fire.
That's got to be Mrs. O'Leary.
That is Mrs. O'Leary.
Yeah.
Tim, you win the Chicago Handshake Drinking Card Game. You guys, thank you so much for coming in. Thanks for spending time. And again, I'll give the website one more time.
Nice. Yeah, it's transittees.com.
Cool. Thank you so much. It's Tim Gillengerten and Kelsey McClung from Transit Tees. Thank you guys so much. This is great. I'm going to go home and have a little Malort in my whiskey glass right there now. Thank you to Edwin for having me sit in for him today and everybody here at WCPT. He'll be back with you next weekend on The Big Picture. Thanks to all our guests, in addition to Tim and Kelsey, Dr. Lauren Streicher, Steve Bernas, Sandy Price, the Executive Director of the Rogers Park Business Alliance, Lydia Langshakova from Becoming Santa Claus, Mike Zapata with the Art Institute, and all of you for listening to us. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Shop local for Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday as well. We'll see you soon here on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.